Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Battle of the Brands Hot Tub Expo is back. Tacoma Mall parking lot. Top brands competing for your business. Deep discounts from Jacuzzi Hot Tubs, Dreammaker Spas, Nordic Hot Tubs, Sundance Spas, even Hydro Pool self-cleaning swim spas. In stock and ready for immediate delivery. Save thousands. Hot tubs from $99 a month. Brands compete. You save. The Battle of the Brands Expo, presented by Aquaquip. Tacoma Mall parking lot. Ends Sunday. Qualified buyers with credit approval pay just $99 a month for a Dreammaker Cabana with $500 deposit, 10.99%, and 144-month term. Other offers available. See us at Tacoma Mall for more details.
At Carter Subaru, your drive begins with savings. With over 300 new vehicles in stock, shop your way, in-store or from home. Plus, when you buy from Carter, you support our community. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard today.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump has responded to calls for more transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein case, but Natalie Brand reports there won't be any immediate results.
He's asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval, which the AG, Bondi, indicated she will seek to do today. Now, that is expected to take time. I spoke a short time ago to a former federal prosecutor who said we could be looking at months, if not over a year.
Trump is also threatening to sue the Wall Street Journal and its owner, Rupert Murdoch. Scott McFarlane has that.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that there was a card or a letter sent by Trump to Epstein for Epstein's 50th birthday, which had what the Wall Street Journal characterized as bawdy language and references to it, and a drawing of some sort that could have been a naked woman.
The president this afternoon is expected to sign cryptocurrency bills just passed by the House. CBS's Kelly O'Grady.
Just more broadly, the fact that Congress is in a bipartisan way saying cryptocurrency, we actually want to figure this out and make it credible for Americans, that's a big deal.
An Idaho judge lifted a gag order in the quadruple murder case of Brian Kohberger. He pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty for the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students at their rental home near campus. Steve Gonzalez's daughter, Kaylee, was one of the victims. He wanted the case to go to trial so he could learn what happened.
By hiding the truth, we're protecting our killers. We have to show the ugliness of what this person did. We're writing our victims' impact statements, and we don't even know what the impact is because they've hid the impact from all of us.
CBS has canceled The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He will not be replaced. The network called it a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. Matt Belloni is with the digital media company Puck.
The economics simply does not make sense anymore because people are not watching linear television late at night. They are watching the clips from these shows on digital platforms, but the monetization of that content is not the same.
The show will continue through May of next year when the franchise will be retired. Oscar-winning lyricist Alan Bergman has died. He teamed with his wife for hits like It Might Be You and the classic The Way We Were.
The way we were.
The Bergmans provided words and sometimes music for hundreds of songs from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson. He was 99. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A 2-alarm fire near Tacoma turns deadly this morning. We'll tell you more about that. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, we've got a very nice Friday light. all over the map almost. The only red spots I'm seeing are typical getting in and out of downtown Seattle. Northbound slowing starts just at the north end of Boeing Field, continuing into Seattle. And then the southbound traffic is almost nil just in the downtown core. I'm seeing a little bit of slowing on East Marginal Way South leading, just kind of like getting up to the West Seattle Bridge. But really, it's just a blip on the radar. Let's see, Linwood to Seattle on I-5, 27 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 39 minutes. It was almost an hour at this time yesterday. Renton to Bellevue on 405 northbound, 28 minutes. And the Tacoma travel is just green all over the map. 16, I-5, 512, 7. You're looking great. This report brought to you by Northwest Hope and Healing. Join them for Life in Color on August 17th, honoring the journey of those impacted by cancer. Get tickets at nwhopeandhealing.org.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. One person has now died after a fire at an adult family home in Midland. Central Pierce Fire and Rescue responded this morning and say 10 people were in the home when the flames broke out. Photos show the building completely gutted almost. Half of it burned to ashes as smoke rises from the rubble. Crews are still working to put that fire out. The cause is under investigation. Seattle police say they've shut down a drug and stolen goods operation run out of an RV. Officers served a warrant this week in West Seattle near Southwest Cambridge Street. They say the RV had a steady stream of foot traffic for weeks, people coming and going to buy drugs or trade stolen items. Inside, police found fentanyl, meth, cash, and 4 guns, including 2 shotguns. 1 person was arrested. It's week 3 of the Republic Services trash workers site. Tens of thousands of residential customers in King and Snohomish counties are affected by this work stoppage. KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibow talked with the founder of a service called Tired of Trash in Bellevue.
He had 7 trash pickups, which is double the amount of calls he says he usually responds to.
There's stuff on the streets, there's stuff on the ground. People are upset. They're upset with the Republic Service specifically. Obviously, we need to kind of be on both sides on that one. We just want to help in regards to the kind of more of the urgent matters.
The strike spans multiple states as local unions negotiate their contracts or have stopped work in solidarity with others who are negotiating. Be watching your mail for your ballot as today starts the 18-day voting period for the August 5th primary. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Eric Thomas.
293 races on the ballot statewide, along with 59 local measures. And there could be some big changes coming for the largest cities in Western Washington. The mayors of Seattle, Tacoma, Everett, all up on the ballot, along with the King County Executive. And by the way, all ballots due on August 5th by 8 o'clock that night.
Weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Much cooler this morning, high of 74 and cloudy overnight lows in the high 50s for the next few days. Saturday, similar weather, even a little bit cooler at 72. It is 62 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Fresh Fridays. This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
That's right. Good vibes. Fresh Fridays here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Everybody's bobbing and weaving and weaving and bobbing. Happy Fresh Fridays, by the way. July 18th. Ursula, I got a little bad news for you.
Uh-oh, what's that?
That yesterday at 9 p.m. was the last sunset that late until 2026.
Okay, why did you have to start me off like that?
My bad.
Okay, but you know what?
You like news, that's why.
We still have a lot of warm weather to come up.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much summer left, so nothing is going to get me in a bad mood. Not even just...
Do you have Swank Derangement syndrome?
Nope, not even that. Not even going to get that under my skin today. Nope. Hey, coming up at 9:30, why is the union that represents the city of Seattle workers backing Mayor Harrell's opponent in the upcoming election? One of the reasons got my blood boiling this morning, but I got over it. But I'm curious what y'all think. So we'll talk about that coming up at 9:30. Our text line is open for you, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
Let's get to it. Ursula's top stories of the day, brought to you by Bath Fitter Northwest.
It is a crisis. Dozens of young children in Washington are dying or nearly dying in homes where fentanyl is being used. And in many of those cases, the state already knew the homes were potentially dangerous. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey joins us live now with details.
Just alarming, really. Yesterday, the State Department of Children, Youth, and Families held a surprise hearing. This is a hearing that they don't normally have, and they just said, look, the data that we have in our hands right now is so alarming. We've got to get this out there, and we've got to warn the public. 92 children, you mentioned, have died or nearly died so far this year, and many of those incidents involve fentanyl and accidental ingestion. That's double the number from all of last year. A lot of critics, like Jamie Williams, spoke at the hearing, who's a foster parent and a nurse. They're now pointing the finger at one bill, House Bill 1227, which is the Keeping Families Together Act, which is designed to err on the side of not removing a child from a home.
For too many children, this law is not keeping families together. It is sending them to an early grave. This is not compassion. This is not justice, and it is certainly not protection.
During the hearing, State Director Patrick Dowd, he was asked, did you, think about, your agency think about, change or recommending changes to that law as, a way to kind of right the ship here?
That is something that our office considered. We did not make that recommendation.
Instead, the state is recommending more services for parents, like treatment for women, and more efforts to get fathers to be more involved.
I gotta say, it is truly concerning to see how and we can agree on this, it was a well-intended law, right? This now is leading to such outcomes for children. And Luke, right now, when it comes to this, are there any, how can I say this? Are there any plans maybe to increase staff? Because I wonder if there is even enough staff out there we need to do case-by-case basis. We need to really screen this process. Do they have enough people out there to facilitate this?
Nationwide, their social workers face an issue. They're overworked. There is a
underpaid.
Underpaid, of course, but there's a high burnout rate among social workers too. And so a lot of times when they leave a job, they don't come back because they're supposed to have a threshold of cases that they work with at a time. I don't know what the threshold here in Washington State is, or city by city, but oftentimes I've done stories. It's above or just right at the threshold, and it never lets up. The state says they looked hard at the Keeping Families Together Act. They found that they just didn't see many cases where they found if only that law had not been enacted, they could have pulled a child from the home. That's what they say. But that kind of leaves two different causes then. Okay. Parenting, and to your point, Gee, talking about more resources, more services, certainly for social workers. I think that might be helpful. Who am I? I shouldn't comment on it. But also, it also points to, another cause is the fentanyl epidemic, which critics say, look, you can't just let the state and DCYF off the hook and say it's a fentanyl epidemic because that's mostly a federal law enforcement issue.
Right.
So the fact that they held this emergency hearing yesterday and they're now realizing that there are some unintended consequences from this law, you're saying that they may have to make some tweaks? Or are they considering that possibility?
It's being discussed. It's being discussed, certainly. I mean, all you have to do is look at the data, obviously, that came out, but the numbers as well. So that law went into effect in 2023. And if you look back, the numbers of what we're talking about, these fentanyl cases, has only gone up. Look, certainly there's a fentanyl epidemic. I mean, that's part of it. I don't think there's one clear-cut answer. I don't think anyone would say that. But, yeah, they're talking about what do we do here.
Luke Ducey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If your grocery bill feels higher, maybe your gas tank feels like it's a whole lot more expensive to fill. I just did that yesterday. Your paycheck's not going as far as you want. Yeah, you're not imagining it. And Seattle, though, the Seattle area just recorded the sharpest jump in inflation of any major metro in the country. So this is according to a new Wallet Hub report. So take from it what you will. They're saying that consumer prices in the Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma area went up 1.4% in just 2 months. And that is more than half of the region's annual increase of 2.7%. So, yeah, we're talking about food prices. They're up nearly 5% year over year. Grocery costs alone jumping 1.5% just in June. If you're eating out, you've noticed it as well. It's up by 1.6% just in the last 2 months. So all of it. One analyst told the Center Square the numbers are startling, and they're calling the Seattle area spike the worst, again, among 23 metro areas studied. And it's not just about food and fuel. Washington's gas tax hike and the minimum wage increases in our state are also adding to the pressure. And experts say inflation is being driven by supply chain issues, trade tensions, and a still overheated economy. So my first question to you is, are you surprised that Seattle, or this Seattle area, because they talked Bellevue and Tacoma as well, has seen the biggest jump?
No, I'm not surprised, and I totally understand it. You look at our minimum wage here, right, is higher than most of the country, right? You have that going on. And at the same time, you know, I was thinking as you were talking about this, if you are within your structure, your schedule, and like maybe you all do the same things every day, like you do this, I go to work and I go home. Once you start to sway off of your schedule and maybe go to buy something and do something different, that's when you find out like, ooh, things are getting expensive. And I will share with you all what just recently happened to me. Last week, my little car, the check engine light came on. I'm like, oh, okay, well, no problem. I'll take it in to, hey, check engine light's on, and hey, while it's here, can you give me an oil change? Oh, no problem. So they called me up later that day, Ursula, and they say, oh, so, yeah, you have this, you have this, you have this. I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. Just send me over the email and let me, itemize, let me see, and I'll check off all the stuff to do. I was thinking total of everything that needs to be done, Ursula, would probably be $500, $750 maybe, $2,500. So I sent you guys that email, and what stood out to me was, oh, things are getting expensive. Parts for vehicles. And by the way, the tariffs going to start kicking in, y'all.
Yeah.
Right? So some of these parts, labor.
Yeah, right. I mean, but we can't only talk about the tariffs kicking in because you mentioned it, the gas tax hike, the minimum wage increases. So who are you mad at for these increases? I mean, is it just part of life? I mean, we have a Democratic-controlled legislature and governor's office. One of the big things for me is that, and this is why I believe balanced government is much more healthy for all of us, is that we had huge tax increases in this last budget. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
I don't see. When you start talking about who am I mad, I'll tell you. I'm going to be very specific as to who I'm mad at. This has nothing to do with politics, Republicans, Democrats, nothing to do with that. I am mad that we are allowing billionaires to make all of the decisions in this country. We are allowing, whether it's a Democrat in office or a Republican in office, you guys, no wealth tax. We don't want to tax them. What are you talking about? The rich are good for us. I am upset that we are living in a society that is so apologetic to CEOs. It's almost like being at a damn Coldplay concert and you're a CEO and you're hugged up on the head of HR, right? And the Coldplay songs and the Coldplay drops, watch this, Coldplay drops 2 singles. You see what I did there?
I do, because we're going to talk about that situation coming up at 9:47. You got to stick around for that. Okay, I get you, but text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Who are you mad at? And what are you having to change? What's hitting your wallet the hardest right now? Okay, well, as long as we're talking about money and policies, imagine raising a son with special needs, working every gig that you can find, and still not being able to afford rent unless the government helps. That is exactly Havala Hopkins' life. This is a story out of the Seattle Times. They profiled her. She's a single mom in Woodinville who relies on a subsidized apartment to stay housed, and now she and millions of other families could be kicked out after just 2 years. And why? because the Trump administration wants to impose time limits now on HUD housing assistance. So they say help should not be permanent, but for families like Havala's, there's no realistic path to self-sufficiency when we're talking 2 years, especially, I just got done telling you about how it's the most expensive here, or we've seen the most increase with inflation, but in places like King County where rent easily tops $2,000 a month. So there's a new study out that finds that 1.4 million households could lose their their homes under this proposal. And we're talking mostly working families with kids. So my question to all of you, including you, G, is should housing help have a time limit?
Yeah, sure. Yep. Housing should have a time limit. You should get drug tested in order to make sure you don't have any marijuana in your system, to get food assistance. Your food assistance should only last for so long. And then, hey, suck it up, Buttercup. If you don't get on your feet within a couple years, get out and get on your feet.
I know you don't really feel that way, but you're just exasperated after a long week.
Because I am no. It's not a long week. I am tired of literally talking about the same thing. And let's be real. People hate poor people. People hate people that are down on their luck. People hate people that need help and support. They say things like you're just there for a handout. So y'all tell me when we stop demonizing people that way, then I won't be so tired.
Okay, I want to continue this conversation, but I do need to break in because right now there is some big breaking news. At least 3 deputies were killed in an explosion at the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department Training Center. This is breaking news that we are watching on a number of different networks, but we are not getting a whole lot of information yet. We will continue to track that, and you will have more here coming up at the bottom of the hour. But, man, at least 3 dead after an explosion just happened at a Los Angeles Sheriff's Department training center. Okay, so back to our discussion.
But you know, the discussions that we're having, and you know, again, yes, you catch me on a tired thing. Even going back to, look, the gas tax. By the way, I agree. Gas tax in this state is too awful. Much. It's too much, no doubt. The taxes that Ursula brings up every single day is too much. But I tell you this, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh my goodness, stop with all these excessive taxes. Stop being a regressively taxed state. And then at the same time say, no, we never want a state income tax. Ursula, how is the state of Washington going to get through all of this by continuing to not have a state income tax? Every time I bring that up, people say, gee, we can't do that. Matter of fact, we can't even get politicians on record to bring this up. Why am I crazy for saying that?
You're not, because it has been brought up from the day I moved to the state of Washington. I have heard this argument over the state income tax, and that always goes back to you would have to change the Constitution. You'd have to have the will, and you would have to have people believe that if they brought in a state income tax, that every other tax would not also go up. And until you have those things, it's never going to change. But one argument would be you could do better with how you're doing the spending. You could do better with, why do we have to have a 50 cent plus per gallon gas tax in this state? I mean, I am shocked when I go to other states and I'm like, hey, how come they have much cheaper gas?
So no to an income tax and no to a wealth tax?
Oh, I'm in favor of the wealth tax. I say change it so that it does pass muster when it comes to constitutionality. Change it. Because there are a lot of people who are getting a whole lot richer, and the middle income and the lower income segments of our population are hurting even more.
And the overall theme, if anybody can point to why this is happening, I'll tell you. Because the billionaires in this country make the rules. They literally do.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. Okay, coming up at 9:30, I saw that the union that represents City of Seattle workers is backing Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell's opponent in the upcoming election. And then I saw one of the explanations and one of the reasons why it is something that gets me going. So we'll talk about that coming up next.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What a morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO Newsradio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
If you need a new car, don't wait. Ursula Reutin here for Carter Subaru, where your drive always begins with savings. Right now, get the 2025 Subaru Solterra EV for 0% financing for 72 months. Take advantage of the federal tax credit before it goes away. Lease a 2025 Subaru Solterra and receive a credit of up to $7,500.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. Not all buyers will qualify for federal tax credit. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 7/31/25.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Summer is in full swing, and T-Mobile Park is the hottest spot in Seattle.
Randy Arozarena, his 4th home run in the last 3 games, and he is high-stepping all the way to 3rd.
Don't miss out on special events like the next Mariners Fireworks Night on Friday, August 1st, presented by T-Mobile. Cal Raleigh and the crew are taking on the division rival Rangers at 7:10, and after the final out, we'll be lighting up the sky with an epic post-game show. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
Holy smokes, what a firecracker! Upper deck number 34 for the big number.
Go to Mariners.com to lock in your seats and check out what's on deck at the ballpark, including Aloha Shirt Day, Saturday, August 2nd. Plus, be here for more can't-miss post-game events. The Mariners Drone Show is August 22nd, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the final fireworks night of the season is September 12th. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to my friend Brock Heward. Brock, why did you call First Mark?
Brandy, it is so good to talk to you. It's been too long, and we made that call. And the only bummer is we waited too long. I know you hear from people that you talk to as well as I do to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. I just wish we would have done it earlier. You know, Brandy, the word that comes to my mind is a word I use on my sports show a lot, and that is connective tissue. It's important in team building. It's important to players in a locker room to be connected to others. And when it comes to insurance, it's so complicated. It's stressful, and you just don't even want to deal with it. And that's where the connective tissue of having a pro, having a broker, having a partner, and most of all, having a teammate like First Mark Insurance was the best connective tissue we could find.
Brock did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Jazz Funk Soul hits Dimitro's Jazz Alley this week, July 17th through 20th. Jeff Lorber, Everett Harp, and Paul Jackson Jr. bring the groove with 6 shows celebrating their new album, Simpatico. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
G. Scott here to talk about Sunbucks, a SNAP program that provides free, healthy food when school is out. If you could use the help, simply fill out the form online to determine eligibility for $120 of free food per child. If families had cards last year, they have been replenished. If families need new cards, they can call the Sunbucks Call Center. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to save on produce and shop online. Visit hungerfreewa.org/summer EBT.
With Clear Choice Dental Implants, one day can make the difference between hiding your smile and saying cheese. Thanks to our dental implant experts, our one-day teeth transformation culminates in your Clear Choice Day, the day when you start loving your smile again. Visit clearchoice.com or call 888-SMILE-05 to schedule your free consultation today. And let us help Seattle start smiling again.
Majority qualify for same-day dental implants after doctor recommendation. Offices owned by Dr. Alfonso Pinheiro.
The Battle of the Brands Hot Tub Expo is back. Tacoma Mall parking lot. Top brands competing for your business. Deep discounts from Jacuzzi Hot Tubs, Dreammaker Spas, Nordic Hot Tubs, Sundance Spas, even Hydro Pool self-cleaning swim spas. In stock and ready for immediate delivery. Save thousands. Hot tubs from $99 a month. Brands compete. You save. The Battle of the Brands Expo, presented by Aquaquip, Tacoma Mall parking lot, ends Sunday. Qualified buyers with credit approval pay just $99 a month for a Dreammaker Cabana with $500 deposit, 10.99%, and 144-month term. Other offers available. See us at Tacoma Mall for more details.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. A U.S. citizen was beaten to death in the West Bank by Israeli settlers. Now Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, is calling the death of 20-year-old Safula Mosalet a terrorist attack. Here's CBS Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Margaret Brennan.
The Mosalet family tells us they've got low expectations that the Israeli government will prosecute the attackers, and they've asked American lawmakers to press for an independent U.S. criminal investigation.
The family of one of 4 murdered University of Idaho students is speaking out after a judge lifted a gag order in the case.
Brian Koberger pleaded guilty to the 2022 stabbing deaths to avoid a possible death sentence. Victim Kaylee Gonkalv's mother, Christy, told CBS Mornings,
with this gag order being lifted, it will allow us to know more of what happened to our daughter.
Kaylee's father, Steve, is upset Koberger will be allowed to spend the rest of his life in prison. He wants more details.
You can't do that by just brushing it under the table, putting a gag order, wrapping it up in a bow and say, he pleaded guilty, it's all done. Let's just move on.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
More rain dangers on the East Coast. Now in the Gulf, tropical rains are slamming the region, putting millions at risk of flash flooding throughout the weekend. The House passed 3 cryptocurrency bills Thursday: the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, and the Genius Act. The Genius Act, which would establish a regulatory framework for regulating payment stablecoins in the cryptocurrency market, did pass. The Senate approved the stablecoin measure last month, and the bill now heads to the president's desk. In honor of John Lewis, the late congressman and civil rights leader, hundreds of people marched through Seattle's Capitol Hill Thursday evening. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Gary Horker.
Protesters say this is all in protest to what they call growing attacks, civil and human rights, and to immigration.
We're going to be supporting our immigration community. We're going to be supporting our international community. Capitol Hill in Seattle is such a special place. It is such a special history.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 0.54%. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, here's a new issue to tell you about. In Bothell on 405 southbound, just north of 527, there's a collision blocking the right lane with a dense backup all the way to the 405 merge with I-5. That Bothell to Bellevue drive is now 26 minutes. Looking pretty good elsewhere, though. Linwood to Seattle on I-5, 27 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 38 minutes on I-5, and Renton to Bellevue, 28 minutes on 405. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Get lower home energy bills, cleaner air, and year-round comfort with AeroSeal duct sealing, starting at just $99 for PSE customers replacing their furnace or heat pump. Visit homecomfortalliance.com. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. 74 and cloudy today, 72 and cloudy tomorrow. Overnight lows in the 50s. It's 62 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery with KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Fresh Friday to all of you. Text us on our text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. You got to tease what we're going to do in 15 minutes because it might be the thing I'm looking forward to the most, Gee.
Uncle John coming on at 10 o'clock?
Well, that, of course, but at 9:47.
Yeah, 9:47. Hey, Coldplay just dropped 2 singles.
That might be the most expensive Coldplay concert this CEO has ever attended.
Oh, I will say this. At 9:47, we're going to find out another reason why, watch this, why some CEOs want their employees to come back to work.
We're going to talk about how the whole work from home thing is playing into the Seattle mayor's race because in a rare move that pits union members against their own boss, essentially, the largest union representing City of Seattle workers is endorsing the mayor's challenger. Protect 17 represents about 3,000 city employees, and they've announced that they are going to be backing Katie Wilson over incumbent Mayor Bruce Harrell, and they say it's all about wanting transformation. They don't want just maintenance. And this is unusual, not just because Mayor Harrell actually helped negotiate the union's latest contract, but union leaders are saying members are just tired of what they call status quo leadership, especially when it comes to one specific area, and that is workplace flexibility. So Protect 17 Director Karen Estevanen made it clear that while Harrell has earned some of their support on housing and transportation issues, they are not happy with his push to get city workers back in the office. They also mentioned the bungled rollout of a new payroll system. But one of the biggest sticking points is they don't like that Mayor Harrell wants folks who work for the city of Seattle to work in their offices instead of staying home. So I reached out to some of my friends who work for the city of Seattle, and I asked, hey, what are they requiring you to do? I mean, I think that there are some jobs that are flex jobs anyway. But right now, City of Seattle workers are required to work 3 days a week in person. So that was what was bargained. They have 3 days and then 2 days still able to work from home. So, and up until now, the mayor has actually enjoyed support from business and labor, and MLK Labor, which actually represents 150 unions. They endorsed him back in May, but the actual City of Seattle Workers Union is saying, yeah, we want your opponent because she might be more flexible with getting back to, more remote work.
Which candidate you like better?
Oh, Mayor Harrell.
No, I'm just curious.
No, I mean, Mayor Harrell is an imperfect mayor and an imperfect candidate. But looking at who the other candidates are, no. I mean, has there been progress? Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. You talk to businesses, talk to the pendulum is going in the right direction between the mayor and the current makeup of the Seattle City Council. You don't want to disrupt that. You want to put pressure on him to do more. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had John Scholes, the CEO of Downtown Seattle Association, ripping on the mayor's proposal when it comes to business taxes. I mean, he's getting hit every which way, but I don't think it's arguable that the city of Seattle isn't moving in a positive direction.
Sure.
What about you?
I read this article. I read the entire thing. And while I'll first say I do think Mayor Harrell has done a great job. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I know most of you listening, you have a good memory, and you know what he had to come and clean up. He had this whole Seattle City Council. You had that. The last previous mayors, you had that. I do think the trajectory of this city is doing well. However, while I don't like them trying to bully this because we all know that this is what this is about, is like, hey, we don't want to be coming into work. We want to continue this work from home. And I'll admit, I'm the old guy that still thinks the collaboration is great, and I'm a little old school. But the one thing I will say is this, Ursula, the one thing that stands out to me, I agree with not continuing to see the status quo on things. I'm bringing that up because I think personally, especially in leadership, it is really easy for leaders to say things like, well, that's how we just always done it. And as someone who's been in this radio space, in this right here, I cannot tell you how many times I have faced and have seen, well, this is how we've always done it. Well, we do it this way. Gee, you got to do it. No. Gee is going to do it his way, period. I'm doing it my way. And sometimes this new leadership, the best leaderships are the ones that want to stay curious. The best leaders are the ones to be like, you know what? Even though we've always done it this way, I can see us doing this. I can see us doing that. So I do think that there's a little bit of correctness when they say a lot of status quo stuff, because I hate the status quo. I hate the whole, this is how we always done it. It works that way. No, it don't.
Yeah.
You got to continue to get better.
Do you think, though, that his position on getting workers back into the office should be one of the main reasons why, right?
I started it off by addressing that first. Yes. No. City, state, get back to work.
County.
And here's why I need you to get back to work. Because we, the people, are impacted by the process being slower when you're working from home. So I addressed that in the beginning. Now, I don't agree with that.
Well, and quite frankly, there's no perfect candidate. But if you're looking at Mayor Bruce Harrell and you think, if your complaint is, oh my gosh, she's still too leftist, between him and the right, exactly. Exactly. He and the city council, I would say, are the moderates, moving more moderate, and my understanding, and I need to read more on Katie Wilson, but she is actually getting the attraction of a lot of the more progressive.
Bruce Harrell is the mayor that the city needs. And by the way, I don't always agree with the mayor, no doubt. But that's the type of leadership you need. You need a leader that's not going to just be swayed by what others say, right? You know what I'm saying? Real leaders lead. They don't pay it. Well, what do you think? Oh, well, what do you think? Oh, maybe. Oh, I'll check. No, at least I know the mayor is going to have a decision. He's going to stick to it and get going with it.
Yes. And sometimes you have to make tough decisions. And if one of those is getting city workers back in, that he should not be held, that should not be held against him. But again, that's one union. There are other unions that are backing him. And Mayor, if you're listening, it's been way too long since you've been on our show. Yes, we have been critical of you, but we also try to be fair, and we would love to have you back on the show.
The thing is am I a little hot under the collar that the mayor of Seattle don't want to come on the Gee Ursula Show? Yes. Yeah, I'm a little hot. So I could have came in here and no, I still think he's a great mayor. And I also think, why are you running and ducking from the Gee Ursula Show? Both can be true.
Exactly.
Be tripping. All right, I can't wait to talk about Coldplay. Matter of fact, hold on. Can I just share this before we get into it? Because we're going to talk about the CEO that, was at the Coldplay concert. And there's some things that he could have done to not go viral, but we'll talk about that too. But unpopular opinion, I kind of like Coldplay. And a lot of y'all be dissing Coldplay, and I don't get it. Help me better understand. We'll talk about it next. Gee Ursula.
KIRO Newsradio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO Newsradio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
I know all of you are watching your dollars and cents a lot more closely these days, but if you need to buy a new car, you want to make sure that you are going to get a great car, the best car at the best value. And that is what I am going to tell you are going to get at Carter Subaru. It is why we have bought several cars from them, because buying a car at Carter Subaru is always going to be a hassle-free experience. They don't believe in using any pushy sales tactics. They don't have to. Their customer service is always excellent. I can tell you, I can attest to the fact that they will treat you like family, and is why I feel so confident in recommending them to you. Carter Subaru does have the vehicle that you've been searching for. They have over 300 new vehicles in stock, including the 2025 Forester, now with 3.9% financing for 48 months. Also, you'll want to take advantage of the federal tax credit before it goes away. Lease a 2025 Subaru Solterra and get a credit of up to $7,500.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. Not all buyers will qualify for federal tax credit. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 7/31/25.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Hey guys, it's Keith Dashafi from Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington, and we are not done celebrating 100 years of industry leadership. For a limited time, get $100 off every window, $100 off every door, or choose 60 months of 0% financing with no interest and equal payments. That's right, 100 years strong, and we're giving you more ways to save on the Pella difference. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaPNW.com. Thank you again for letting us serve you in the Northwest.
There are 6 markets you can place your money in. Research suggests it's better to have exposure to all 6 markets. Don't miss a potential opportunity because you didn't strategically diversify your assets. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Request your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing in your portfolio. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
We had diamonds, taking shade.
Nick, I wasn't sure, man.
I wanted to throw a little Coldplay in there. I thought it was festive, you know.
Hey, look, it is Fresh Fridays. Your boy ain't been feeling so fresh. Some of these topics, Ursula's kind of got me riled up a little
I know
bit.
how to.
Man, some of these topics be rough. I'm ready for the weekend.
Oh, okay.
But hey, you're not ready for the weekend, so you need to hang out with us. So coming up at 10:06, I call him Uncle John. Y'all know the former King County Sheriff John Urquhart will join the show. And yes, he did say I can call him Uncle John. But right now, at Coldplay's show at Gillette Stadium earlier this week, the band fired up the Kiss Cam. You all have seen Kiss Cams and everything like that. Well, there was a person that was taking a video of the Jumbotron, right, and captured astronomer CEO Andy Byron and his HR chief, Kristen Cabot, in an intimate embrace. Time out. I don't think that it was technically an intimate embrace. It's just embrace. But then this is why it became intimate. Because upon realizing they were on the Jumbotron, they recoiled as if a sniper was trying to shoot at them, right? My man Byron, he ducks. Old girl Kristen covers her face, prompting frontman Chris Martin to quip on stage. He did and pulled a G. Scott, was like, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
You want to watch the video?
Yeah.
We
need to watch. Yes.
do something bad.
Yes.
If you're on YouTube right now, go to YouTube, the Gee and Ursula Show page. My man is about to play it right now. Go.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You okay? Oh, what?
Okay, so
Either they're having an
she's
affair
got her
or
back
they're
turned
shy.
down. Oh, my word.
Now, check this out. At a concert, you all have been to concerts. Matter of fact, Ursula is the queen of concerts. If they do a Kiss Cam and you see people in the suite or you see people standing there and they're going side by side, 9 times out of 10, you don't care. Matter of fact, with the cell phone, they're just paying attention to the Jumbotron, Ursula. If they would have just kept going and going, nobody would have paid any attention because the person with the video won't know what they had.
Right.
But instead, they thought it was they ducked down. And so now he puts out, now Ursula, he did not, if he would have consulted my co-host Ursula in this whole thing, he actually put out an apology letter, y'all.
Can I stop you there?
Stop.
Because you know what happens?
What happened?
And this just published just now. Because you're about to read a statement that the company says is not real. Because that sucker went out and that was viral.
Oh, that wasn't real?
Well, the one, okay, so the one that he said it was it began with an acknowledgement of the disappointment caused.
Oh.
But yeah, so basically, I'm just looking at it right now.
Okay.
There was a statement and it was circulating everywhere. And the CEO's company, Astronomer, told TMZ it is not a real statement. I was asking out in the newsroom. I said, have y'all, because I'm like, this is the worst statement.
Yeah, okay.
This is the worst statement. But they made it sound real.
Yeah.
They apologizing to his family, not wanting to make it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but let's play along. What would you do if you are him? Okay, it's out there now. It's the biggest
I do what all
meme.
rich people do.
It's
go to rehab.
Stop.
Whoa.
Are you putting out a statement? Are you putting out a statement? And if you put out a statement, what do you say?
If he puts out a statement and he is really iffy, I don't know if he is sorry or not, but if he is, I am sorry for the embarrassment that I caused my family, my company, and there is no excuse for what I did. I'm not trying to minimize this. Not only did I let down my family and company, but I violated by dating a subordinate at my company, the head of HR, right? Going forward, I'm probably about to lose my family, probably about to lose my job as CEO, but I will learn from this because the truth is, you have no choice but to learn, my boy.
Yeah,
you're gonna learn. And I wanna say this: there's two rules that he violated. The obvious, okay, whatever. The obvious is okay on his wife, but a real violation: don't date anybody at work. That's number one. Number two, and this is a big one: don't date another man's wife.
Yeah, that might be the starting message. How's that? Let's just start there. Try not to be a cheater. Sure. And if you're going to be a cheater, you better own it and do a better job of masking it, because what you did has now become the world's largest meme.
I mean, it won't go away.
All over the place.
And I don't know if you should have put this on YouTube. My daughter made one of me, and it was me being held by yard work.
I'll make sure I'll get that one for we'll show it in the show for sure.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we could do. Let's post it on the Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page, and then I want to hear from all of you.
Yeah.
What would you do if you're this couple now? How do you respond? Or do you just not respond and hope it goes away? Because, man, the news cycle is pretty quick.
The news cycle is pretty quick. Matter of fact, we won't be, what's today? Friday? We will not be talking about this by at least Monday. But the meme will remain.
No, that meme is hilarious. But you created a new one, or your daughter did.
Yeah.
And I want people to see that on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page. So Paul's going to put that up during the break.
Yeah.
But coming up next, we've got
Uncle John, former King County Sheriff John Urquhart. Affectionately, we call him Uncle John. Go get your coffee. Go get a refill on whatever beverage you like to drink, and come on back. We do that next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Care Partners Senior Living is growing. Amanda here. We are very excited to introduce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, and North Creek Bothell, bringing compassionate, quality care at an affordable price, closer to more of you. Visit carepartnersliving.com today.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. There has been a deadly accident at a sheriff's training center in Los Angeles. Reporter Mark Liu has details.
Tragically, 3 deputies have been killed following an explosion here at what is the SEB facility at the training center. Now, SEB is LA County Sheriff's Special Enforcement Bureau. It's essentially their version of SWAT, what you would know as a SWAT team.
KNX reporter Steve Gregory on the search for answers.
I've not been told of any other risk at this juncture. I'm sure that they'll go in now with their own bomb squad. They may actually, because of what happened, most likely will call another agency to come in and help as well. Because you got to remember now, there's this emotional toll that's happened.
President Trump had Attorney General Pam Bondi ask a court to release some of the grand jury evidence in the Jeffrey Epstein case. There are growing calls for more transparency, but CBS's Natalie Brand reports if the evidence is released, it won't be anytime soon.
I spoke a short time ago to a former federal prosecutor who said we could be looking at months, if not over a year, that people in those documents could object to them. That could draw out the court process. He also said that based on the request that was made last night, it could be broad, but it's certainly not everything that the DOJ may have in its possession.
A migrant detention center in the Florida Everglades was supposed to handle the most dangerous illegal immigrants, but a 15-year-old boy was detained there. He was a passenger in a vehicle stopped in Tampa and later handed over to immigration authorities. Border Czar Tom Homan, a short while ago, said he wasn't aware of the case.
I'm not familiar with the cause yet. That's a question for ICE, but we're looking for beds, and I hope we get more beds on soon.
Authorities in Maine have charged a 17-year-old with the murder of a paddle boarder who went missing in a rural pond. The body of the 48-year-old woman was found this month in Union, north of Portland. Beef prices have climbed to another high, as Michael Wallace reports.
New government numbers show the average price of a pound of ground beef rose to $6.12 in June, up 12% from a year ago. Supply isn't keeping up with demand. The nation's cattle herd has shrunk to its lowest number since 1951. Kim Radiker Bays raises cattle near Fort Worth.
We've had a lot of drought the past couple of years, and so it's been harder and harder to keep enough grass to feed the cows.
Economists warn President Trump's tariffs and a flesh-eating pest in cattle herds in Mexico could push beef prices even higher. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Checking the numbers on Wall Street, stocks have done an about-face today. They're currently all down. The Dow Jones Industrial's off by 248 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
A judge keeps the seal of Catholic confession intact. We'll explain that story in just a moment. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, we've got one new issue to tell you about in Auburn on 167 southbound, just south of Ellingson Road. There's a collision blocking the left lane. There's a little bit of slowing, actually, in both directions leading up to that collision, but it's only costing you a few minutes right now. Checking the other issue that we've had, 405 southbound, just north of 527 in Bothell. There was a collision blocking the left lane that I suspect has cleared now because the backup has, it was very thick all the way back to I-5, but it looks like that is dissipating. The Bothell to Bellevue Drive, 24 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, 26 minutes. And Linwood to Seattle on I-5, 27 minutes. Federal Way in the northbound direction to Seattle, 37 minutes. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Save up to 25% on remaining 2024 heat pumps and ACs during the Home Comfort Alliance warehouse clearance while supplies last. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. A federal court is blocking a Washington law that would have forced priests to share information shared with them during confessions. The ruling comes just 1 week before a new state law was to take effect. The court ruled the state was unable to explain why language in the bill singled out clergy and not other people who might hear a confession. As part of its commitment to safe environment, the Catholic Church already requires priests to report abuse and neglect to law enforcement and other state authorities. A 2-alarm fire at an adult family home in Midland has now claimed a life. Central Pierce Fire and Rescue is there trying to put out the flames. Half the house is burned to rubble as smoke rises through the giant hole in a collapsed roof. The cause is under investigation. A new report says Washington state is knowingly keeping children in homes where fentanyl is being used and kids are dying. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
The report from the State Department of Children, Youth, and Families says 92 children have died or nearly died so far this year, and many of those incidents involved fentanyl and accidental ingestion. Those numbers have risen since the state's Keeping Families Together Act took effect 2 years ago, which errs on not removing children from a home. In an emergency hearing Thursday, State Director Patrick Dowd was asked if they are recommending changes to that law.
That is something that our office considered. We did not make that recommendation.
Instead, DCYF is recommending more services for parents. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
It begins weeks of major projects on I-5.
A lengthy project begins on I-5 in Everett. WashDOT is repaving a 4-mile stretch southbound between 41st and the Everett Mall. Most of this work is scheduled for evenings and overnight, but there could be some daytime work as well during this 14-week project. This starts Saturday at 7 p.m. with up to 4 lanes closed until 9 a.m. Sunday. Weekdays, the closures are between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Tonight, Seattle shuts down all northbound lanes on I-5 for the weekend in Seattle between I-90 and 45th Street. For the next month, the route will be at half capacity and express lanes will stay open in the northbound direction. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. High of 73 today. Cloudy, about the same tomorrow. 62 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
It's Fresh Fridays here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Fresh Friday, July 18th. We're really grateful that you guys are hanging out with us. It is the 10 o'clock hour, as you all know. Coming up at 10:47, it will be time for scenarios, and I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to that segment. Seriously.
Me too.
Good morning, Ursula.
Me too. Good morning. 888-973-5476, 888-973. KIRO is our text line, open for you. Also, check us out on YouTube. Apparently, it's pretty feisty in there in the comments section. But let's get to it.
What's new at 10?
And more than 24 hours later, we are still getting a lot of feedback from all of you about our interview yesterday with Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank. And in case you missed it, we have posted it on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page. You can also find it on mynorthwest.com. Sheriff Swank, in this interview, defended his top commander, Major Chad Dickerson, after Dickerson was involved in a crash over the weekend that sent a bunch of people to the hospital. And then he later showed signs of intoxication when he was at urgent care, according to the State Patrol. And at the scene, the Pierce County Sheriff's deputies said that Dicker did not appear impaired and did not give him a breath test. But again, it was 2 hours later that troopers said he did smell of alcohol, had bloodshot eyes, and he admitted to drinking vodka sodas while golfing. We did get a ton of feedback from all of you. We also heard from many in law enforcement, including former King County Sheriff John Urquhart, who joins us now on the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Well, just share. You were listening to that whole interview, I know, and I guess I would love to hear from you. What was your overall impression of what you heard?
Well, two things, I guess. First of all, it was great radio. You know, you couldn't look away. It was really interesting to see what Sheriff Swank was going to say. So that's number one. Number two, I got to up my game. You guys had him on there for 30 minutes. I'm lucky to get 5 or 10 minutes. So maybe I need to be more controversial when I come on.
Oh, that's too funny.
Well, let's go over a couple of things. You know what? Here's one. Never in my life, Sheriff, would I thought that the day that one of the top bosses in law enforcement would come on the radio and say in front of everyone, when Ursula gave the story about doing the walk for a field sobriety test, and he says, well, you shouldn't have done that. He basically advised everyone not to take a field sobriety test. As former law enforcement, former sheriff, when you heard that, what was your reaction?
Well, that's certainly what I heard as well, and I think it's very unfortunate that he said that. Our job is to bring accountability to people. Our job is to investigate crimes, and certainly that's one of the techniques we use is a field sobriety test. Now, Sheriff Swank is not anybody's lawyer. He is the chief law enforcement officer of Pierce County. And I don't think he should be advising people or making recommendations how they can get out of a criminal charge. That's not his role. And I think I mentioned yesterday to somebody that, what's next? Is he going to advise burglars to be sure to wear gloves to their burglary? Or if you're going to commit a homicide, don't take your cell phone with you? Where does it stop? It shouldn't have started in the first place. And I think it's real unfortunate that he went there.
Well, Sheriff, because you have been in law enforcement for decades, I was curious about a statement that Sheriff Swank made saying that he knows nothing about the accident or knows very little about the accident on Saturday and was not reading the statements by the Washington State Patrol. I'll let you hear a clip.
And I pray for them, and I don't even know what their situations are, and I just pray to God that they're not injured. I don't know if anybody's injured. I heard somebody was. But as I said, I haven't read any of the records.
Multiple people were injured, some of them seriously. This involved the top commander in his department. What would you do as sheriff if you have a situation like this? Are you looking at accident reports?
Oh, yes. On a situation like this, when one of your, it doesn't matter what it is, but one of your top people, or really anybody in the organization, is involved in something along these lines, here's what we would have done at the sheriff's office. Within 24, certainly within 48 hours, I would have had an executive briefing, and I would have pulled in the detectives that were involved in this case, their supervisors, the unit commander, and I want to know everything we had up to this point about what had occurred. And the reason I do that is, one reason is I don't want to be blindsided by the press when I get those questions asked, and I have to say, I don't know, because that isn't particularly credible. And number two, I want to make sure that we are dotting our I's and crossing our T's when we do this investigation, at least the part that we may or may not have, because obviously in this case they farmed it out to State Patrol, which was a very, very, very good decision that they made. I want to make sure that that's covered, and I want to look at, over and above the individual officer or deputy involved, I want to look and see what led up to that situation, and I want to see that the other people that weren't driving did the right thing and handled it appropriately. And the best time to do that is just as soon as you can after the incident.
You listen to the voice of former King County Sheriff John Urquhart here on the Gee and Ursula Show. And let's just, I want to change that. I want to ask this. I know that there are times that you might not have read the report, right, of something that happened. And in this case right here, he said he had not gone through it. Would you still go on to a radio show or talk to the media about something that you haven't read through? Would that be wise to do that?
Well, it depends, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he hadn't read the reports or hadn't talked to anybody that really could brief him on what had occurred. But in this particular situation, let's remember that the investigative agency is the Washington State Patrol.
Right.
And as soon as that happens, and I farmed out investigations at other agencies on a fairly regular basis, much to the chagrin of some of my people. But when I thought it was appropriate, I would let State Patrol, I would ask State Patrol or Seattle Police Department, oftentimes, or Bellevue, to take over an investigation. But once you do that, once the investigation is in their house, you shouldn't be talking about it at all. So when you get asked specific questions about it, what you should be saying is, I'm not going to respond to that. You need to talk to Washington State Patrol. They're going to be releasing information. The sheriff and the sheriff's office should stay out of it 100%. Let them handle the release of information, whether they think is appropriate to release based on their investigative needs. Shouldn't come from us.
This is former King County Sheriff John Urquhart. Was there anything else in terms of his explanations for what happened and how his deputies and how the case has been handled so far involving someone very high up in their department? Is there anything else that stood out to you that you want to bring up?
I think there's still a lot of questions that haven't been answered yet. Why was he allowed to leave the scene with a family member? That probably should not have occurred. Why did apparently none of the deputies that were on the scene that responded to the accident smelled the odor of intoxicants, and yet State Patrol did immediately when they talked to them? I don't think that's very clear yet. So, there are things that are still concerning. There's still unanswered questions around this whole situation. If you had a line deputy that was involved in this, in a situation like this, it would still be concerning and the same steps have to be taken. But when you have a senior level of the command staff, a major, which is very near the top, when they're involved, you have to be extra careful that there's not some level of intimidation going on or some desire by the individual deputies to protect their boss or kind of tamp it down because it happens to be a ranking officer. It just adds another level of complexity to the situation that you really got to look at very closely.
Sheriff, right now, if this was your job and you were in place right now, how would you advise your officers, right, to engage right now with community members that are outside, obviously, of their department? But, right now, the public, like people in general, are really paying and focusing on this topic, and it doesn't look good. So as a leader, how as a leader do you, when you have your meetings and you talk to your officers and everything, what would you be saying to them to help them better go out into the community to talk with us, because at the end of the day, we all have to have a great relationship. And by the way, a huge shout out to the Pierce County deputies that are out there. You guys do your jobs out there. I see you every day.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, I've always been very supportive of the line deputy, the road deputy in particular, because they've got a very, very tough job to do. You know, what I've always said, Gee, is the most difficult job of a sheriff, and certainly when the 5 years that I was sheriff, the most difficult job is maintaining the trust of the community. And boy, it doesn't take much to lose that trust. And Pierce County is facing that right now. They need to get out there and reassure the public that, A, this is going to be handled appropriately, that when it all shakes out, that the major is going to be handled, whatever happens to him will be appropriate for the situation, and that all of your deputies are held to that higher standard that, to his credit, Sheriff Swank talked about yesterday. Police officers are held to a higher standard, and police commanders especially need to be held to a higher standard. I used to tell my people that if I gave a deputy 5 days off for doing something wrong, if a commander did the same thing, he's going to get 10 days off for the same conduct. That's important for the community, and it's really, really important for the deputies that work for you and work for these commanders.
Former King County Sheriff John Urquhart, we always appreciate your expertise and your willingness to come on. And again, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
My 10 minutes is up. Thank you so much.
I don't need to ask you to stay on for a second segment. In fairness to us, though, Sheriff Urquhart, you do come on. And you are willing to answer the tough questions. And we want to have you come back. Someone said, hey, can we make this a regular thing with Uncle John? And
the tough questions are the most fun ones as far as I'm concerned.
And I'm glad you were listening yesterday. And in case anyone missed it, when I mentioned that I was pulled over, it was not for driving under the influence. And I was very confident in that I was going to blow 0.00, which is exactly what happened, which is why I said I would happily take the test, which the sheriff said you should have never done that, even if sober. So that was the advice that he gave. He's not an attorney, and we're just going to leave it at that. But Sheriff Urquhart, thank you so much.
Have a great weekend, Uncle John.
Hey, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay, did you hear about the Late Show with Stephen Colbert getting canceled?
Yeah, I did.
So as I was driving in this morning, our Seattle Morning News host, Charlie Harger, was reacting to that news, and he gave a brilliant commentary, and I wanted to share it with you in case you missed it.
My very first memory of ever listening to the radio is hearing the CBS ding at the top of the hour. I was sitting in the back seat of my mom's green 1974 Chevy Impala station wagon. That sound meant something important was about to happen. And for a long time it did. But what I'm seeing from CBS right now is disappointing. Honestly, it's hard to watch. To be clear, I'm not talking about the journalists at CBS News. Many of them are still doing excellent work. I'm talking about the CBS corporate side, the people who make business decisions that directly affect what the public sees, hears, and ultimately believes. CBS is in the middle of trying to merge with Skydance Media as a multi-billion-dollar deal. This started under the Biden administration, but is now under review by the Trump administration. And according to multiple published reports, the president and his team have privately suggested the merger could be delayed or blocked unless CBS stays in line. And CBS appears to be falling in line. Start with a lawsuit over the 60 Minutes interview with Vice President Kamala Harris in the run-up to the election. The editing in that segment was flawed. It deserved criticism. But President Trump, who refused to interview with CBS himself, sued CBS anyway over a segment he was not even part of. And CBS did not push back. They settled a couple weeks ago for millions. And how exactly was the president harmed? He won the election. It was a petty lawsuit. It was meant to send a message. That's a nice network you got there. It'd be a shame if the sale didn't go through. Comply or face consequences. And CBS complied. Then last night, CBS announced it's canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Look, I don't watch Colbert. He's not my thing. But Colbert has been a persistent critic of the president. And when you cancel that voice while asking the president's administration to approve your business deal, well, the timing, it speaks volumes. Yes, Colbert is part of CBS Entertainment, not CBS News. But that doesn't change what this looks like. It looks like fear. It looks like surrender. And it makes me wonder what else they're willing to give up. I want to believe CBS still has that spirit, that they still remember what made them great. The people at CBS News, the reporters, the producers, the editors, I think many of them do. But the people at the top need to decide what matters more, getting a deal approved or standing for something. You can call it caution if you want, but from here, it looks a lot like corporate capitulation.
Spot on.
First, well done, Charlie Harger. That was incredible. Oh, man. I have so much to say about this topic, but we only got a couple of minutes. So I do want us to talk a little bit more about this in the next segments. But let me start. You want to know the biggest reason why people don't trust the media? They don't trust the media because there's a lot of folks that believe that no matter what, it has been bought and paid for. Now, usually you don't have this authoritarian type behavior that comes in someone who wants to be a dictator. Donald Trump is different than any other president we've ever had. We literally have a gangster in office. The problem is that all of the moves that he's making, here is someone who, you know the old saying, knows where the bodies are buried or knows that a lot of people are compromised. The problem is Ursula, we've always had a very corrupt system. From all of the things over the years that media has talked about, decided not to talk about, having George Bush Sr. get on in the White House and talk about the controlled buy of crack, right? There is really a lot of garbage that has happened over the years. And what has happened is so many people are compromised. That's the key word, compromised. And what Donald Trump does is he goes after that. There are a lot of people who have done things the wrong way, and he knows how to come in and be like, I see you, and why a lot of people are falling prey to him. So this whole idea of what happened with Colbert, while it's sad, understand that when there isn't honor amongst thieves like there always has been, there's somebody has come in and says, I don't want to play by the same rules that's going. I'm going to do whatever I want, and that's Donald Trump.
I just looked at the ratings, the most recent ratings, and The Late Show on CBS is still leading in its time slot, averaging more than 2.4 million viewers. So you can't say it's because of poor ratings. It's complete capitulation. Shame on CBS. And that's why I actually have such great respect for organizations like Harvard, where they fight back. And we're so late right now.
All right. Sorry, Nick. Coming up next, we'll have more of the Gee Ursula Show.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter Get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Battle of the Brands Hot Tub Expo is back. Tacoma Mall parking lot. Top brands competing for your business. Deep discounts from jacuzzi hot tubs, Dreammaker spas, Nordic hot tubs, Sundance spas, even hydropool self-cleaning swim spas. In stock and ready for immediate delivery. Save thousands. Hot tubs from $99 a month. Brands compete. You save. The Battle of the Brands Expo, presented by Aquaquip. Tacoma Mall parking lot. Ends Sunday. Qualified buyers with credit approval pay just $99 a month for a Dreammaker cabana with $500 deposit, 10.99%, and 144-month term. Other offers available. See us at Tacoma Mall for more details.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. So glad, so thankful that Molly and I made the call. Had heard so many First Mark Challenge victories, we needed to take that challenge. What does happen from your perspective when that caller, when that email, when that person reaches out to you for a First Mark Challenge victory?
That's a great question. So there's several steps we go through in the process. The first step is we're going to gather information, find out all we can about that client and what their needs are. The next step is we will go out to the market. We have dozens and dozens of carriers that will compete for the business. At the end of that process, we will then bring those findings back to the customer, show them what we found, and who the eventual winner was in that competition.
And it may be who they're with.
It might be, yes. And sometimes that's the best we can do is recommend they stay where they are, but maybe modify a few coverages to put them in a better position.
So go take that challenge today. Go be the next First Mark Challenge victory. It costs you nothing, and they will be there with you every step of the way. FirstMarkInsurance.com. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision. If you're at the stage where you need readers, whether you've had LASIK or not, it may be time to consider K2 Vision RLE. I tell my King LASIK patients, laser vision correction won't solve the eventual need for reading glasses due to an aging, dysfunctional lens.
But K2 Vision RLE will. It's not a question of if your lens becomes dysfunctional, it's when. At that point, you'll need reading glasses and could benefit from refractive lens exchange, a permanent solution to distance, intermediate, and near vision problems. In other words, no glasses, no contacts, and no readers.
And no cataracts.
Exactly. After K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
K2 Vision RLE is quick and painless.
And because we performed over 100,000 procedures and followed the outcomes, we have the experience to know if RLE is right for you.
Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at k2visionrle.com and let's get your vision feeling young again, permanently.
Go to k2visionrle.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
CBS News special report. An explosion at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department training facility has claimed at least 3 lives. CBS Los Angeles reporter Rick Montanez is following.
They are highly elite trained crews that will go out and do this. And so there is training that happens at this facility as well. You've got to wonder what exactly went wrong to cause something on this scale, this tragic for the LA County Sheriff's Department.
Officials from the ATF and the FBI are among those those responding to the scene, KNX Radio's Steve Gregory says they're likely to help in the investigation as well, not because something criminal is suspected.
The department is probably going to bring in some other people to help in this situation because they're now emotionally involved.
The explosion happened in a parking lot filled with sheriff patrol cars and box trucks and may have been triggered by material recovered yesterday that exploded this morning. CBS News Special Report. I'm Linda Kenyon.
And I'm Jillian Raftery with KIRO Newsradio. A murder charge has now been filed in a deadly house fire in Seattle's Wallingford neighborhood. Prosecutors say the suspect set 2 fires, one in a park and then one on a porch. That porch belonged to 72-year-old Susan Klee. She was found unconscious inside her burning home and died 2 days later. Investigators may have found the cause of the fire that killed 9 people at an assisted living facility in Fall River, Massachusetts.
Sources say the fire may have been started by someone smoking near an oxygen tank.
We need you out. There's a huge fire.
The Fall River Police Department has released body cam videos of its officers rushing into the burning building to save residents. They kicked in doors looking for victims and carried some out, all while not wearing any masks. Fire Chief Jeffrey Bacon.
That was absolutely amazing what I watched them do. That's not their job. That's not their comfort zone.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Center, we are looking like you're having a very good midday drive. Green almost everywhere, all over the map. I am seeing a backup right around JBLM on I-5 southbound, starting at about Lakewood and going almost all the way to the end of the base, but that is only causing about a 3-minute delay or something like that, which is not even the maximum that it can cause. Linwood to Seattle on I-5 southbound, 28 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 37 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, 25 minutes. And let's check on that Tacoma to Olympia drive. It's about 55 minutes right now. This update brought to you by ProSculpt. ProSculpt, the one-day permanent fat loss and skin tightening solution for men and women, offered by New Skin Med Spa in Bellevue. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are warming up only to 73 degrees today. Overnight lows in the high 50s, 71 tomorrow. It's 63 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery with KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Okay, it is the breaking news today. We're still trying to digest all of it, but a federal judge has temporarily blocked a controversial new Washington state law that would have required Catholic priests to report child abuse, even if that information was revealed during confession. So now it's on pause, but under that law, clergy who upheld the sacred seal of confession could have faced up to a year in jail and a $5,000 fine. And the federal judge said that the law appeared to single out religious practice while letting secular professions, including attorneys, for example, keep their confidentiality protections. And as we have reported, and as many of you know, for the Catholic Church, confession is not just private, it is considered sacred, and breaking that seal isn't just a violation of trust, it is grounds for automatic excommunication. There were folks in the Catholic Church saying that they would just absolutely go to jail if they were forced to break that seal. And the key, to all of this is that the church already requires priests and staff to report abuse in every other circumstance, whether it's at the parish, at the school, at the ministry. The only exception is when abuse is mentioned during the sacrament of reconciliation, where the church teaches that the penitent is speaking to God. So, what is your reaction to now? Are you surprised that it has been blocked now temporarily, at least by a judge?
Absolutely not surprised. It's where we are today. You're talking about the same. Do we not know and believe how powerful the Catholic Church is? You're talking about lawsuits after lawsuits by abused victims that have forced over the years here nationwide for these dioceses and a lot of these religious orders to pay settlements of more than $3 billion because they have a history of settling, a long history of sexual abuse allegations, cover-ups. The cover-ups that involved minors for years. in years. And this is just the 20th century that we know about. I couldn't imagine the 19th, the 18th, the 17th, and the 16th century. It's par for the course, Ursula. I'm not shocked. This is what I expect. I expect for them to continue business as usual.
And to me, it is unfortunate. I was not surprised at all to hear that this happened. It's disappointing, however, even though I know that it is considered a sacred sacrament, and that and I understand that priests were saying that they would just rather be hauled to jail over this. That said, for all the reasons that you just mentioned, I think that there are things that just have to change within the Catholic Church. And when you're talking about dwindling numbers in certain countries, you would want the church to, I guess, in some ways, if you stay with the times, do what's right, practice what you preach. And in this case, I would think that the safety of the child would supersede anything else, and that is within the Catholic Church. But unfortunately, right now, this is all on pause.
If I had a business, let's just say I had a business myself, I own this business, and in that business, it's been around, let's just say it's only been around for 100 years. And over that 100-year span, I had people that worked with me and for me that did a lot of bad acts that involved minors. And I paid out settlement after settlement after settlement. I was even paying out settlements because I was hiding some of the stuff that would happen inside of my business. Ursula, could you look me in my face and tell me that you would support my business?
Of course not. I know there's got to be, there's mental gymnastics going on, and that's what's so hard. Again, that is what's so hard. And whether it's following the Constitution as you interpret the Constitution, or following, what has always been within a church, that's what gets us into trouble in so many ways these days. It's like not realizing, some of these things are just not right. And don't take into consideration certain things. Child abuse should never be okay.
Thank you. And just so you know, what is my business? My business isn't selling lumber or selling wood. No, my business is selling people hope. My business is telling people, hey, you come into my doors and we're going to make life better for you. And while you're here, there's abuse that happens. And then you give me passes to potentially do some of the same things that I've done in the past?
Yeah, it's a hard one. Okay, I don't know if you noticed in your neighborhood yesterday, but there were some small protests, and the hope of these protesters was that they would be speaking volumes with these small protests. And I'm curious what you think of them, because yesterday morning there were some activists who were holding banners on Seattle's Capitol Hill and so many other neighborhoods to call attention to President Trump's plans to cut Medicaid and ramp up deportations.
We're going to be supporting our immigration community. We're going to be supporting our international community. Capitol Hill in Seattle is such a special place. It is such a special history.
Okay, so there were actually more than 1,600 of these coordinated protests all across the country. There's all part of a national day of action called Good Trouble Lives On, honoring the legacy of the late Congressman John Lewis, who famously urged all of us to stir the pot in the name of justice. And my question to all of you is, in a time when we're dealing with nonstop noise and outrage, do these small symbolic protests still make a difference? Like when you see them on the side of the road, are you honking? Are you, does it matter?
First, I want to say that I'm grateful for everyone that takes the time to go do this. I really appreciate all that you are doing. There's some of us that love that fight. Now, you ask me if it matters? No.
Ooh, I disagree. Okay, but why do you not think it matters?
Because everybody's bought and paid for. And all of the decision makers at the top control everything. The only way for change to happen is if the billionaires make it happen. And the difference is in the 50s, in the 60s, when a lot of change was happening, we didn't have the CEO making 1,200% more than its employees, right? Today, we don't have that. We don't have the middle class anymore. There's either the upper class or it's all the way down. And because of this stuff, everything in your news is going to be about money and control. And so while that's great and it's awesome, but it doesn't really make a difference because it feels and seems like folks is bought and paid for it. Now,
do you agree with
the
G?
side.
Yeah, exactly. Do you agree? So I'm telling you that I think every small protest, every big protest, as long as they stay peaceful, but you get your message out, I am inspired by the folks who get out every single weekend and will do it. They're the ones who are saying, you know what, I'm going to walk the walk, talk the talk, and I'm actually going to go out there and do something. You know that those are the same people who are calling their congressional delegates. They're the same people who are trying to fight against what they think is wrong. And just more power to you. I know Angela Poe Russell saw them in Edmonds, and she was like, hey, look, they're turning out. I love it.
You mentioned the congressional folks, all those politicians. Quick question. Those in the federal government, everybody in Congress and all, can they buy and trade stock?
You know the answer.
All right, good stuff, Ursula. By the way, that conversation really actually made me feel better. It's time for scenarios next. Gee and Ursula.
You listen to Charlie and Manda on Seattle's Morning News every morning. What do they listen to every afternoon?
I listen to John all the time when I'm driving home, driving my kids around.
I also listen to the John Curley Show. Even by the end of the day, I still like to keep my brain active, and he's very good at doing that.
John, first of all, is hilarious. I never know where this dude is coming from.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute with KIRO Newsradio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking immunotherapy. But research is underfunded and kids need your help. Join Safeway and say yes at checkout to donate to Immunoheroes. Let's fight cancer for all kid kind.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips. So we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
The Battle of the Brands Hot Tub Expo is back. Tacoma Mall parking lot. Top brands competing for your business. Deep discounts from jacuzzi hot tubs, Dreammaker spas, Nordic hot tubs, Sundance spas, even Hydropool self-cleaning swim spas. In stock and ready for immediate delivery. Save thousands. Hot tubs from $99 a month. Brands compete. You save. The Battle of the Brands Expo, presented by Aquaquip. Tacoma Mall parking lot. Ends Sunday. Qualified buyers with credit approval pay just $99 a month for a Dreammaker cabana with $500 deposit, 10.99%, and 144-month term. Other offers available. See us at Tacoma Mall for more details.
Well, I'm sure by now you've heard interviews with a whole lot of people who took the First Mark Challenge and saved so much money on their insurance and got better coverage too. We call them First Mark victories. Well, I took the First Mark Challenge too, and I'm thrilled to say that First Mark is saving us thousands. Now that's what I call a victory. You know, I was with the same agent for so long, I simply assumed they were working hard to get me the best coverage and save me money. But it wasn't the case, and you should find out too by taking the First Mark Insurance Challenge. First Mark works for you, not the insurance carriers. First Mark will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage, which could leave you at risk for financial loss. Then they carefully search the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit, and that's it. First Mark Insurance has helped thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance and save them thousands, me included. Be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Take the First Mark Challenge right now. It's totally free. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Care Partners Senior Living is growing. Amanda here. We are very excited to introduce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, and North Creek Bothell, bringing compassionate, quality care at an affordable price, closer to more of you. Visit carepartnersliving.com today.
So why don't you speed?
I've had one too many close calls on the road, and then I learned the facts.
It's dangerous to drive too fast.
It's true. 1 in 3 fatal crashes involve speeding.
Most people try to be safe, but speeding is dangerous.
You know, the faster you go, the longer it takes to stop.
The faster you drive, the harder you'd hit someone. Slower speeds save lives.
Please drive the speed limit so everyone is safe. Learn more at togetherwegetthere.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the Gee and Ursula Show. You know what? Paul is filling in for Chef today, and I just asked him a question, and this whole conversation we just had, and what I asked him is hey, you're the young generation, millennials, Gen Z, you ever hear what people like myself and older say, things that we just don't get it sometimes? And to which Paul says, yeah. So we're going to bring up that conversation. And by the way, when he said, yeah, there was a lot more that got added to that. But it was a great conversation. And I want to have it
absolutely was. So we're going to, share some of that coming up in our 11 o'clock segment.
Yeah. All right. Scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
My 12-year-old son took to the idea of saving money in his bank. For years, he's been saving most of his birthday money and allowance and now has over $1,200 in cash. I'm pretty proud of him, but now there's a problem. He's been wanting an iPhone, but we don't think that he's ready for it yet. And I have to say, no. But now he says, that's fine, I'll buy it for myself. I think as a parent, I have veto rights, but my wife thinks it's a great lesson for him. He won't have the money to pay for monthly service, but if we let him buy the phone and he can't use it, won't he be disappointed? What should we do? 888-973-5476 is the text line. Ursula, you up to bat first.
My first initial reaction was, life is about disappointments and getting over disappointments. And a lot of times in your disappointment or your rejection, that's where you're going to find so many answers. You're going to find so much opportunity for growth in those moments. So how old is he, though? Did it mention?
I think he said 12.
12? Okay, 12. And he's willing to work for his own iPhone? Fantastic. And I think you can have some rules when it comes to what's available on your iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's going to have a smartphone and he's willing to pay for it himself, and then maybe you can work up some kind of deal where maybe you split the cost of the monthly payments, or he does additional chores to pay off those monthly payments. I think there are so many lessons in all of that. And then you talk about the dangers of having an iPhone.
Right.
And the way it can be used as a tool for good and the way it can be used for a tool for harm.
This might be the easiest scenarios we've had all year.
Yes.
Let him buy that damn phone.
Yes.
Let him.
Yes. And if there's some disappointment involved, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. $1,200
You guys will work together.
And I'm telling you, that lesson right there, when all of the hard work, the birthday money, allowances, he's saving all that, and he buys that cell phone, and you told him you should not buy it, and he does it anyways, guess what, parents? That's the best parenting. Sometimes you gotta let them learn early, and then that mistake will be like, okay, I won't do that again. Let him buy that phone.
Yeah, and I think everybody should go through the experience of buying a cell phone in the mobile store, because even as a kid, you should be exposed to seeing how much of a process that is.
It is.
And all the things. There is a lot of lessons to be learned there, but I think it opens an interesting door with parenting with kids, especially in this age of, okay, you have worked, you have earned the phone. I do respect that. But we are still putting guidelines on it. I wonder if that's been a part of the conversation as well. Just because you bought and did the phone doesn't mean you're free from the parental oversight, because
Absolutely.
you are paying for the service. You're on you're on our network connection. So I think there is I would be pretty disappointed as a kid, as someone who mowed a lot of lawns and did a lot of stuff to pay for my video games and stuff. I'd be really disappointed if I mowed a bunch of lawns and saved a bunch of money, and then it's like, nah, you can't have that. I think this is gonna be a way for you both, because listen, eventually your kid's gonna have a cell phone, and you're going to have to cross that bridge. So if he's earned it and he's put the work in, I think you can build off that and have a good, constructive conversation about it.
Yes, sir. Nick!
Well, you know what? He earned the cash. He knows what he wants to purchase. If you're the parents, I say let him buy it. You let him on believing he could do this, so let him go full measure and go through that experience to buy what he earned. That's what I want. He might not necessarily be able to use it until he can afford the bill, but it's still a milestone for him, so I'm happy for the guy.
Okay, Mark and Edmonds and Pamela and Black Diamond back-to-back said the same thing. Nope, he's 12. Who's parenting whom? No, big no, according to Mark and Edmonds. He's 12. So I guess the question would be, what is the appropriate age to have a smartphone these days? 12 or 13? I'm just going to keep it real.
Look.
Most people already have them at that point, by 13.
In 2025, a 12-year-old without a cell phone, a smartphone, I mean, come on, Ursula. That's rough. It would be rough. So, hey, for all of you parents that are strict and saying, like Chef says, oh, I'm going to wait till 16. Okay.
But
okay. Good try.
Be happy, though, that he wants to pay for his own thing instead of being entitled, get me a phone.
Love that about him.
That's a lot of money to raise for a 12-year-old.
And by the way, I just want to say that if I had $1,200 at 12 years old, wow. Could you think back to when you were 12? I'm rich.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
$100 was a lot back then.
Right. Text in when he says, I'm rich. What else he say? All right. Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, we have Agree to Disagree. That will happen at 11:30. And then up next, Ursula, we got some top news we're going to talk about.
And then we got to have some fun because it is a fresh Friday. We need to talk about Cal Raleigh again.
Yep.
But there's something new, and maybe his nickname isn't so bad after all.
Yeah, we got to talk about that for sure. Next, Gee and Ursula.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
IRG Physical and Hand Therapy doesn't just treat injuries, they elevate athletes. From weekend warriors to elite competitors, IRG Sports Institute clinics are built for performance, blending top-tier physical therapy with advanced sports science and personalized training plans. Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Why? Why elevate athletes as well?
Because here at IRG, Brock, our motto is we want you to be your best self, your best physical self, your best mental self, and your best community self. At our new IRG Fremont Sports Institute, we're providing that type of care. We've got the latest equipment, the greatest techniques, the providers there that are excited to get you better, basically bigger, faster, stronger. Doesn't matter if you're a weekend warrior, a recreational athlete, an elite athlete, we will make you to be your best.
You'll work with specialists who understand the grind because they've been there. With access to cutting-edge equipment and recovery techniques, you won't just heal, you'll come back stronger. Visit IRGPT.com, IRGPT.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Linda Kenyon. An explosion at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department training facility has killed at least 3 people. It happened in a parking lot filled with sheriff patrol cars and box trucks. KNX Radio's Steve Gregory has details.
Sources are telling KNX News that around 7:30 this morning, explosives that were stored in a specially locked truck. Now, these were ordnance, and that means usually some sort of weaponry, some sort of explosives used in military or demolition. But that ordnance was being stored in a specially locked truck, and members of the elite bomb squad were moving that ordnance when it exploded.
The Education Department has agreed to release some frozen grants for after-school programs. CBS's Stacey Lynn reports.
The Trump administration had withheld over $6 billion in grants, including $1.3 billion for after-school programs as part of a spending review. 10 Republican senators pushed for the funds to be released, emphasizing that they have bipartisan support and are vital to local communities.
One of the Senate's top Democrats, Senator Richard Durbin, says passage of the rescissions package on Capitol Hill further emboldens President Trump when it comes to cutting programs and spending he doesn't like.
Is it possible to embolden Donald Trump?
I think by his nature, he is bold and sometimes reckless, and I think this was a reckless decision.
President Trump plans to sign the rescissions bill this afternoon. The president has asked his attorney general to get authorization from the court to release grand jury testimony in the Jeffrey Epstein case. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest.
I've never seen this type of request before.
Mitchell Epner, a former federal prosecutor, says a judge will make the final decision and the request could take months or more. And it's unclear how much of what the DOJ has it will seek to release.
It could be very broad, but it is not, and it is certainly far from everything that they could make public.
The push to release all Epstein files has divided Republicans after the DOJ issued a memo this month saying Epstein did not have an incriminating client list.
The push also comes as President Trump is threatening to sue the Wall Street Journal over reports that the president allegedly sent a bawdy letter to Epstein for his 50th birthday. Police in Maine say they have charged a 17-year-old with murder in the killing of a paddleboarder who went missing on a rural pond. Area residents are relieved.
Frightening, just frightening, and I'm delighted that there's been an arrest. There was all kinds of rumors circulating about the New England serial killer.
The body of 48-year-old Sunshine Stewart of Tennants Harbor, Maine, was found earlier this month on Crawford Pond. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Major developments in the court battle to keep religious confessions private. We'll go into detail on that in just a moment. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Center, I just don't know how to say it. We are looking fantastic on our Friday drive. Linwood to Seattle's only 28 minutes on I-5. Federal Way to Seattle, 37 minutes on I-5. Renton to Bellevue, 25 minutes. Bothell to Bellevue, 25 minutes. The only place that is going to slow you down, really, I-5 southbound from Lakewood through JBLM. We're seeing about a 5-minute slowdown there just from heavy traffic. And I don't see anything blocking right now. This report brought to you by Kia of Everett. Over 400 tariff-free new Kias are available now at Kia of Everett with easy lease and financing options. Experience simple, easy fun at Kia of Everett today.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. Investigators are trying to determine what sparked a fire in Midland that killed one person. 10 people were inside the building, which serves as an adult family home, when flames broke out this morning. Central Pierce Fire and Rescue had to call in help from 2 other agencies to get things under control. Even so, much of the building appears to be reduced to rubble, remnants smoking through a hole where the roof used to be. That fire is under investigation. A federal court is blocking a Washington law that would have forced priests to share information shared with them during confessions.
A federal judge granted the preliminary injunction because lawmakers couldn't explain why language in their bill singled out clergy and not other people who might hear a confession. Last month, the Justice Department sued Washington over the law, which was designed to require a priest to report known child abuse, threatening potential jail time and fines if they didn't. The Catholic Church says they already require priests to report abuse and neglect to law enforcement and other state authorities. The injunction comes 1 week before the law was supposed to take effect. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
3 major road construction projects kick off this weekend in our region. An 8-day closure at the SR 18 I-90 interchange is underway already in Snoqualmie. Tonight, Seattle shuts down all northbound lanes of I-5 for the weekend. 2 lanes will then be closed for the next month. In Everett, repaving work on the southbound lanes between 41st and the Everett Mall will close lanes mostly overnight for the next 14 weeks. Seattle's art scene is getting a $50 million boost. KIRO News Radio's Manufactor has that story.
Entrepreneur Andrew Conru is behind this through his Conru Art Foundation. The money will support new projects, including real estate and an art contest. Last year, Conru bought the old Lusty Lady building downtown. Now he wants to turn that space into an art museum by 2030. According to the Puget Sound Business Journal, a private lunch party held today is co-hosted by the Seattle Art Fair. Manufactor, KIRO News Radio.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Warming up just to 73 degrees, 57 overnight, 71 tomorrow, but we are in a warming trend. by Sunday. It is 64 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
It is Fresh Fridays here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Fresh Fridays, July 18th. What base am I on? Good morning, Ursula.
Oh, you are almost at home base.
Yeah, you know it.
You've been rounding third. And I think we were rounding third right around 9:30.
Yep, for sure.
Hey, as always, we invite you to text us. Our text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. How are y'all holding up with the heat? And how are you feeling about us having you said it was the last sunset we had after 9 o'clock already?
Yeah.
I'm feeling like this summer, we're in the thick of it, and I'm nowhere ready to say goodbye to it. I am not ready for fall.
You asked about the heat.
Yes.
The high, I think, today is going to be 75. The high tomorrow is going to be 75. It gets no better than that in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, I am going to be in the yard. Oh,
your yard is looking beautiful. By the way.
Not yet.
I remember not that long ago when you used to make fun of people who love to spend time gardening, and look at you, here you are.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I figured it out about the whole yard, and so this is what happens. Your yard never looks like you want it to. Meaning every time, I tell you guys I'm going to be in the yard this weekend.
Yeah.
On Monday, you guys are going to ask me what I'm doing after work. I'm going to say something about being in the yard because my yard is not where I want it to be.
Yeah. And the thing with you is once you start something, you just go
It's
really.
worse now.
You do deep
I'm
dive.
compulsive.
I think, didn't you get caught up in an interesting situation here with your yard? Someone kind of caught you right here on the with your yard work.
Go on YouTube right now, and you can see me being held by yard work.
Please post that on our Gee and Ursula Show
It's
Facebook
up
page
there,
as well.
yep,
Okay,
it's up there,
and
yep.
that is hilarious. That is, you can steal that meme. Okay, let's get going.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
So if your grocery bill just looks a whole lot longer and heavier, your gas tank is emptier, if it's been tough for you, especially those of us living in the Seattle area, it's not a surprise because Seattle, according to a new Wallet Hub report, has just posted the sharpest inflation spike of any major metro in the country. So specifically, if you're going to be chatting about this with some of your friends, prices in the Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma area jumped 1.4% in just 2 months. That's more than half of our entire annual inflation rate compressed into just 60 days. So if you feel like, okay, what just happened? This is why. Grocery prices, up 1.5% in June alone. If you're dining out, that's up another 1.6%. I had a friend reach out and said, she owns a restaurant. She was like, oh my God, what happened to all my customers? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, maybe it's the heat, but maybe it's just like things are just to the point where it's breaking point.
Yeah.
So you had a question, though, for Paul during the break as we talk about some of these things. Mm-hmm. And what was your question? Because I think it sparked a really great conversation.
Well, before I said something and asked you this, Paul, I was having a conversation. As you all know, Sophia comes in and she fills in. And we were talking about just going out to eat. And Sophia's pretty awesome, represents Gen Z, her and Nick as well. And Ursula, she was just saying, it's not that Gen Z doesn't want to go out to eat. Gen Z is hard for us to afford to go out to eat. And as you all know on the show, it really bothers me when people struggle financially because I know it's hard.
You've been there.
It's hard, right? And so I just think and believe that if you work a full-time job, 40 hours a week, I don't care what you do, you should be able to afford to buy a house. All right. Now you guys thinking wishful thinking, whatever. So to which I asked Paul, do you sometimes hear Gen X and baby boomers, us folks, sometimes when we're talking, do we feel like, how did I word it, Ursula? How did I word it? I don't think
You
I
basically
was
say
nice about it.
we're screwing things up for you.
Yeah.
Disappointed, basically.
Yeah.
And I think the answer to that question is partly yes. I mean, the frustrating part about being someone that is 30 right now, that works a full-time job, that works other jobs as well to really pay the bills. I mean, and I'm recently married but no kids, and my dog is my only other dependent I have, but everything does just seem to be getting more expensive, and it just seems like that goalpost and these big goals. Because one thing that I kind of have gone back and forth with my wife a lot is I am hitting a breaking point with rent, where it's not that I can't pay the rent, but I'm paying nearly $3,000 a month in rent combined with the two of us, not just me specifically, but in total. And that money's not going towards a property that's going to be with me for 10, 15, 20 years. That's just money out of my wallet every month. No investment, nothing, no credit building, nothing like that. I know there might be some credit stuff, but so I'm getting to a point where it just doesn't feel like, even though I'm making and saving money, I can't get it to do what I want it to do. And trying to carve out that money to start diving into investing or something like that, to even go for a fourth different type of thing for me, it just moves things. So for me, I'm pretty reliant. I'm pretty much separated from most things, but my parents are very helpful. I'm very lucky from my parents. They're I just told G, they're kind of my government, and so to speak, when you're talking about that.
Your safety net.
If I needed food, if I needed gas, if I needed help on the rent or anything like that, and my parents have already told me, we'll help you buy your first home. No one else, that's a rarity. It's a rarity to have. My dad was an engineer. My mom was a nurse manager. They worked hard and for all of their life, and they want to make sure they're taking care of us and the grandkids. But they kind of realized, and they came out to visit, and I think they finally kind of saw, this place is great, but it's so expensive, and it is so hard to make it work. So, I just wish that the older generation can kind of at least acknowledge the fact that everything is so different than when you grew up. The world, money, the economies across the world and here in the United States, I wish that was more kind of reflected on, other than just go work, stop doing out to this. Well, guess what? I work more than 40 hours a week. I work multiple jobs. And darn it, I want to be able to go out. Yesterday, I got 2 sandwiches and 2 drinks after work. Cost me $40. $40 for just 2 sandwiches and a drink. Nothing. And I feel for the business, like you said, the restaurant workers, where it's like, what are they doing? I don't blame them. They got to make their money too. But I think there has to be an acknowledgement of, the world is so much more expensive. And every time I say what my rent is to any of my family members, you can kind of see that they go white for a second. And you're like, seriously? And I'm like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, but I want to be here.
John in Bremerton texted NG and says, $3,000 for rent, that is a mortgage. I mean, that is almost twice my mortgage.
Is that an apartment?
It's a 2-bedroom apartment in Magnolia. I mean, and if I wanted to buy in Magnolia, I mean, that's 1.25 mil right there.
Starting.
And so I hear, thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable to express that. It just breaks my heart when folks be like, well, back in my day, this is how I did it. Look, Stanley, it ain't back in your day no more. Times have changed. Mm-hmm. And I brought up the story, Ursula, about my $2,500 that I just had to pay for my car to get some, I don't know, gasket, a valve, whatever.
Yeah, right.
It was too expensive.
And there was a time when there's no way you could get your car fixed if you had that kind of bill.
But going back to what your friend Layla said, I was thinking about this. Imagine this. Imagine, Ursula, you and I owned an auto repair shop, right? We own this auto repair shop, and we're open for business. We're wanting cars. Question, how often do you think the Ferrari would come to our shop? How often do you think the Toyota Camrys, the Honda Civics, and all that will come to our shop? More often, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you take what I just said to you about the auto shop, auto mechanic. We can't depend on the Ferrari, but we can depend on a whole bunch of Toyota Camrys, Honda Civics, and all of those cars. When you think about the restaurant and all of the businesses going out there, you can't depend on the extremely rich folks to always come and bless your business. You need, right? the Toyotas, the Honda Civics, and you need people, the middle class. You need people that are out here, working class folks.
Yep.
Those folks are not going to eat because they can't afford it. And guess what, restaurant? You're struggling. Because the people that do have the money will say things like, yeah, no, honey, let's just not go out to eat for a year. And they can afford, they can do that.
Yeah, Nick in Snohomish County just texted in and said, sorry, $60 with tip basically for 2 for breakfast? Nope. I mean, there are so many people who have their breaking point. And unfortunately for these businesses, like my friend Layla was telling me, she said, the price of my tomatoes that I have to get fresh all the time, they're not going down, they're going up. Mm-hmm. And if I suddenly see a drop of 50% in my business, like, how am I supposed to make it? We are getting other texts like Kevin in Black Diamond, who said all the increases are directly related to all the ridiculous taxes that we have to pay in Washington. We keep voting the same people into office and then we complain about the results. No. And then Robin Puyallup said, my mortgage went up by $150 a month. Part was insurance. The biggest part was increased property taxes.
Ursula, people keep getting distracted by the politics. Oh, the Democrats, oh, the Republicans. That is just a distraction because it doesn't matter. You want to talk about like different states and how they are doing. You want to talk about the state of Louisiana. You want to talk about this politics stuff is not what you should be focusing on. What you should be focusing on is the fact that we have so many people that literally cannot afford to go through things. You just told a story. Paul just told a story. He's in a 2-bedroom apartment paying $3,000 a month. Most people's salary does not cover something like that. And so you have the majority of people like Paul, working class, 30 years old. They're not going out for happy hours.
But here's where I would argue that politics and policies do play a role, whether it is increasing minimum wage, whether it is putting an unfair burden on landlords who then turn around and jack up prices. These are things that we talk about all the time. So yeah, in fact, you're right. I mean, if we only focus on we need to pay people more, well, we need to pay people more, but the people who have to pay people more also have to pay more out of their pocket because of different policies that make things much more expensive. And by the way, the increase in Seattle that we're seeing, or the Seattle area, that the impact of the tariffs have not even kicked in yet. That is a policy.
So Republican,
as the gas tax is.
Okay, so since 2009, we've had Barack Obama, we've had Donald Trump, we've had Joe Biden, we now have Donald Trump again. Mm-hmm. Since 2009, what has the federal minimum wage been? So what I'm trying to say is the politics are here to distract us. At the end of the day, both Democrats, Republicans continue the status quo of making sure that so many people are without in this country. $7.25 the federal minimum wage has been since 2009.
Yeah, that is atrocious. Okay, we got a little bit of time left. Oh, wait, before we go on, because I asked Nick, hey, Nick, is there anything that you wanted to weigh in terms of what we're screwing up for you?
Well, yeah, when G mentions Republicans and Democrats, I'm with him there. I don't think it has anything to do with the party on side. I think it's a majority of an older generation in fear of losing their wealthy privilege by making younger people today work harder. And the way they try and shape this argument to make themselves feel right is by saying, oh, well, these younger people need to get higher paying jobs. They need to, spend less money and be less frivolous. Well, here's the thing. The young people are doing neither of that. It's hard enough for young people to get a job in and of itself, let alone a higher paying job. So that debunks that argument. And then when you say spending less, we don't even have money to spend in the first place. So when you mention that argument, it's irrelevant. And it's funny when you mention this topic in the first place, because I was talking to my dad yesterday about, when he was growing up and his first job, when he was buying his first home, I asked, how much was your first home? And he said it was around $65,000 that he paid for his first home that he bought. And he was making about the same amount that young people today make. And how much is a home today?
Oh, my goodness.
It's about 10 times more of that in this region. Meaning our dollar is going much less further than previous generations.
And people want to work too. Nick brings up a great point here. I know at least 3 people that I've had a buddy who, and their industries have been dealing with some shakeups, but one of my buddies took him 6 months to find a job. Another one of my buddies, it took him 8 months to find a job and over 100 applications. Another buddy who's well qualified and everything, he told me he's not, and I know he's not lying to this, he has sent out over 100 applications. He has heard back from an automated system twice.
Well, people are working longer too, so there's less jobs out there as well.
Yeah. So the job market is brutal out there. I mean, there's plenty of ones that are. It is one of the
hardest times to find a job. So for a lot of folks who are coming out of college or just starting to get in the job market is really tough.
And when you look at the economy as a whole, people look at the unemployment rate as a number. It's very general. You have to look at the unemployment rate for younger people. It's much higher than the general unemployment rate.
And I just want to put that down too. Some people were kind of, have some texts about, stop complaining and things like that. Hey, we're still here at work. You know what I mean? We're still here. Like, we're showing up. Nick and I are doing our jobs.
What we got to do.
Trying to make the most out of our lives and make the most. We want to we want to enjoy the American dream just as much as anyone else. And a big part of that for me personally is owning a home. I really want to buy a home, but that goal just seems like a really, really lofty one right now for
maybe
people like
one
me.
of the things that we can start right away, G, is not categorizing the younger generation as not wanting to work, which is something that so many people do.
Yeah. Yeah. And the distraction that I continue to bring up about politics, I'll say this: when I was struggling financially, there was the Democrats ran stuff in this state. There was a Democrat in office and President Obama. So what I can tell you, I can assure you, I don't care about the politics, Republican, Democrats. All I care about, most people, all they care about is, can I make enough money to feed my family? That's it. And so I just think, and I hate to just keep going after billionaires and corporations, but I think that is the problem in our country, because it's the CEOs that are making 1,200% more than their employees. I'm sorry, the CEO from astronomer, the Coldplay guy. I'm questioning, being serious. What does he do for his company that the lowest paid person doesn't do? Is it 1,200% more? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
But we will blame that on Republicans, Democrats. And by the way, the same Republican and Democrats that can trade and sell stock. Wow.
Great points.
Me, bruh.
It's those wealthy that set the housing market prices too, because they buy them out.
Good stuff, Ursula.
Hey, well, I want to just say, Nick and Paul, thank you. I love that conversation.
Yeah,
That was fun. Yeah.
And by the way, I love working with you guys, man.
Thank you.
I love the next generation. You guys are smart.
Well, back at you, man. You're one of the real ones. You too, Ursula.
Thank you. Okay, still ahead, we're going to do Agree to Disagree. This is the Gee and Ursula Show.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes. KIRO Newsradio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO Newsradio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Over 1,300 schools offer free meals to students in our state during the school year. So what happens when schools are out for the summertime? Gee Scott here to share with you how we are working towards a hunger-free Washington. Sunbucks is a SNAP program that provides $120 of free healthy food per child when school is out. Sunbucks is a flexible food benefit that families can use to buy groceries to help offset rising costs. If you or a parent you know could use the help, simply fill out the form online to determine eligibility to receive $120 per child. If families had cards last year, they have been and replenish. If families need new cards, they can call the Sunbucks call center. Find all the details and apply for Sunbucks at hungerfreewashington.org/summer EBT. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to save on produce and shop online. Find out if this new grocery benefits you and can help your family. For more information, visit hungerfreewa.org/summer EBT.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20-plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at K2VisionRLE.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory is a little different. We actually reach out to the small business world, to Joel Taylor and Sean O'Donnell from Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants. Sean, when Joel brought this to you, the idea of why don't we take this First Mark Challenge victory, what was your thought?
My goal was to save some money and to simplify our operations. We've got 6 locations now, and along with that comes complications. And when things get complicated, things that are important get forgotten. First Mark was able to simplify that and also save us money.
Not only have they saved us money, they helped us identify some blind spots in our policies. Their service team has been phenomenal, unparalleled in my experience, given us a lot more solutions with better coverage, and just made too much sense.
First Mark's just made it easy for us.
So if you're a business owner and your insurance is in need of simplifying and streamlining and eliminate the stress, do what Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants did. Reach out to First Mark Insurance. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance, your teammate in the business world too. going to work for you.
12s, it's go time. Seahawks training camp powered by Boeing kicks off July 23rd through August 12th at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Join us lakeside for a first look at your 2025 Seahawks as they put in work and gear up for a milestone 50th season. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. At least 3 people were killed and 1 person injured after an explosion at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department training facility this morning. Here's KNX's Steve Gregory.
Explosives that were stored in a specially locked truck. Now, these were ordnance, and that means usually some sort of weaponry, some sort of explosives used in military or demolition. But that ordnance was being stored in a specially locked truck, and members of the elite bomb squad were moving that ordnance when it exploded.
We will be following this issue and giving you updates as we get them. The largest wildfire in the country is burning in Oregon, and there's still no containment of the massive Cram Fire.
At more than 94,000 acres, Central Oregon's Cram Fire is bumping up against mega fire status, a benchmark those living in the area would rather not meet. Operations Section Chief Scott Stutzman says crews today are focused on protecting homes.
Concentrating on securing those structures within the footprint of the fire.
Hot, dry, and windy weather continued to challenge firefighters. It made a push to the south yesterday. A red flag warning remains in effect today. Heather Roberts for CBS News, Portland.
Federal prosecutors say 8 men with long criminal records have been caught re-entering the U.S. illegally. The U.S. Attorney's Office says all had been deported before, some multiple times. They were arrested in Yakima and the Tri-Cities. Their past convictions include drug trafficking, assault, burglary, and domestic violence. Officials say many used fake names and skipped court dates. Now they're facing new federal charges for illegal re-entry. And prosecutors say these cases are part of a broader push to target repeat offenders who pose a risk to public safety. The Education Department will now release some frozen grants for after-school programs. Here's CBS's Stacey Lynn.
The Trump administration had withheld over $6 billion in grants, including $1.3 billion for after-school programs as part of a spending review. 10 Republican senators pushed for the funds to be released, emphasizing that they have bipartisan support and are vital to local communities.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 0.51%. And now from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, let's take a look at I-5 southbound going through JBLM. That's where our biggest slowdown is. And it's only costing you about 5 minutes at this point. Slowing goes from Lakewood down to the end of the base. Going up through Tacoma, I-5 is looking really good. Same with 16. Northbound I-5, there must be something happening on 405 right now because 405 northbound from Renton to Bellevue is still pretty slow, and it looks like there's some spillover slowing from the merge at 405 to I-5 northbound. So that whole area is costing you a few more minutes. Linwood to Seattle, 43 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle from the southern end, 39 minutes. Renton to Bellevue on 405 is 26 minutes. Bothell to Bellevue, 26 minutes. This report brought to you by Washington 811. If you're digging in your yard, the law requires you to call 811 to avoid dangerous and costly damages to utility lines. Call 811 or submit online at digsafewa.com. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. High of 73 and cloudy today. 71 tomorrow, still cloudy. Starts warming up and clearing out on Sunday. 65 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery with KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. It is a fresh Friday, and we sure appreciate all of you hanging out with us on what is going to be a picture-perfect day in the Pacific Northwest. As always, our text line is open for you, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO, and it is time for us to agree to disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves, just really go at it.
All right, we've been meaning to talk about this throughout the day here. And of course, you might have heard the news of Cal Raleigh's new endorsement here. And I'll probably cut the music off here quickly so I can play this great sound here from Cal Raleigh.
Hey there, I'm Cal Raleigh. Yeah, big dumper. I'm teaming up with the only name in the game, Honey Bucket. Stay tuned, more things are coming, more to drop soon.
So I want to do a two-part question here. First things first, Is that not one of the best collabs or endorsement deals that you can think of? The Big Dumper and Honey Bucket getting together. First things first, I want to hear your reaction to that.
Gee? Gee, I think, has hit home plate, and he's already taken off his
I just can't.
uniform.
I can't stand the name Big Dumper for him. But I thought the Honey Bucket ad was, it was so unexpected. I was scrolling through social media, and I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. For his name, yes. But, all right, let me just say the quiet part out loud, and this is nothing against Honey Bucket. This dude right here should be he's a mega star to me. 38 home runs before All-Star break. Only Barry Bonds in the history of the game has done that. He is a platinum platinum glove winner. Only one Mariner has ever done that. Cal Raleigh. Like, this dude to me is bigger than that name, the Big Dumper. I think the Big Dumper is going to be a name that's just going to I want him to be a bigger brand. That's why I love Cal Raleigh. I think he is great for Seattle. But I'm sorry.
You know who agrees with you?
The Big Dumper is who?
Cletus in Federal Way says the Big Dumper is costing Cal Raleigh millions of dollars a year.
I'm telling you, I'm big picture. If I was his publicist, I would get rid of the Big Dumper name. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but there is no way. I think Cal Raleigh's a megastar. I'm sorry. No disrespect, Honey Bucket. I'm not having my client do Honey Bucket.
Really?
Hell no.
Really? Because
you think LeBron James is doing Honey Bucket?
Honey Bucket is a big company. I actually think because he is okay with it, his mom's not a big fan, but he's okay with it. Everyone knows it now. How do you put that toothpaste back in the tube?
Yeah, I think the Big Dumper name, but it is very interesting. I actually hadn't even really considered that until you said it. That nickname could be an impact. My second part of the question is, big series starting. The Mariners are back. Gee, are you still locked in on the Mariners? Are you still confident about the Mariners? The projections are looking good. We know it's July,
yeah.
So are you still bought in? You still have high hopes for the M's this year?
You know, it's like a marriage, man. You got to be all in, right? I got to admit. That series against the Yankees, for all you Mariners fans, and Nick, can you give me that series against the Yankees before All-Star break, it was, and
it took you out?
It dang near did. Now, the Detroit series after that made it better. But that New York series, the way that went down, Ursula, your boy was down for the count. Now I'm back. We back. We're going to get going the second half of the season. But the hitting the last 6 weeks has been Charles Barkley terrible.
Oh, no.
It's terrible.
Okay. So when the season first started, you were hot on the Mariners. You were going multiple times. Mm-hmm. I want to say multiple times in a week, but maybe that's too much.
Yeah, you've dated before. That's what happens. Sometimes
you date. You just kind of got.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying?
You got the cool down.
Man, I got the cool down.
Oh, no.
But I'm back now.
Okay, so
All-Star
you're back.
break. You need a break.
So in other words, you and I, we've talked about this. We are your quintessential bandwagon fans. We're there when times are good, and we're happy to jump off when things hit a skid, is essentially what we're saying.
Kinda. Kinda.
Okay. Are we the worst kind of fans?
No, baseball's so long. I think you kind of go through the ebb and flows. It's a lot to watch every baseball game.
It's 162 games, everybody. Chill.
Hey, you could be watching a team that still hasn't won 30 baseball games yet in the year 2020.
Ursula, do you like the Big Dumper?
Can I weigh in on this? I mean, I want to bring up, do I like the Big Dumper? I've said I don't have an issue with it. I think that it helped make him more of a household name. But, man, his record right now should be standalone. You're correct. I don't think it's holding him back, but I think there are enough people, and even on our text line right now, I'm surprised at the number of people who are like, yeah, it's not a good look. It's not good for him. It's going to hold him back. I think a lot of people are siding with you.
That's because I think Cal Raleigh is a star.
He is a star.
He is a star.
I think he's a star. Like, I think he should be a top brand. I want to see Cal Raleigh on Subway commercials, right? I want to see him in that category. I want to see him in some big, what's the insurance company that's always going on?
Allstate or Progressive?
State Farm.
State Farm.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to see him on State.
This is his first year.
What, first year of what? Being a star?
Of really making it. Right. So, I mean, and then now he's the home run derby champ.
Right.
And so he's already becoming becoming a household name.
Now let's get rid of Big Dumper.
This is his first year.
Get rid of Big Dumper. Let's get rid of that so he can be a star.
What about Big Unit? Georgia Fremont points out.
Well, that's
Big
Randy.
Unit. Randy was a big unit. You know what? What do people think of when you say Big Unit? Yeah, I went there. Okay, dude.
Okay,
yes.
Ursula, you win. Jeez.
Did it hurt him? Or did it help him?
That is true. The Big Unit was that's one of those all-time nicknames for me.
Okay, y'all. I am officially out of the stadium. I don't know what the heck happened to Ursula.
I woke you up. It's a fresh Friday.
Coming up next.
What's his nickname? I'm talking about Randy Johnson.
Your text messages, your feedback. And wait, let's see if Ursula's words to live by can clean that one up. We do that next. Gee and Ursula.
You listen to John Curley every afternoon. What does John listen to every morning?
Here's how I start my morning. Get my pot of coffee going, and then I turn on Seattle's Morning News. I listen to Charlie and Manda. This is how I prep for my show, because I know those guys have, hundreds of years of experience, although Manda looks better than Charlie. I'm going to get the straight news.
Experience matters. Seattle's Morning News. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM, and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Right now, Kia of Everett has over 400 new vehicles available. And the great part, they're tariff-free. Hi, I'm Eric Butler, the general manager with Kia of Everett. Tariff-free means you're going to save thousands of dollars. And our terrific lease and financing offers can help you purchase your new Kia now while the timing is right. The best drive to tariff-free savings is to Kia of Everett, where we make owning a new Kia simple, easy, and fun. Visit Kia of Everett at kiaofeverett.com.
At Clear Choice Dental Implant Centers, we get that your teeth, your budget, and your story are all unique to you, which is why our experts who specialize in dental implants will build a custom solution around each patient's needs. With personalized treatment plans and third-party financing options, we'll help you get your new teeth on your terms. Visit clearchoice.com or call 888-SMILE-05 to schedule your free consultation today and let us help Seattle start smiling again.
Office is owned by Dr. Alfonso Pinheiro.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger, Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At Care Partners Senior Living, we believe in providing quality care at an affordable price. Instead of spending on luxury and expensive art, we invest in our people and accommodations with a focus on compassionate overall health. Our communities offer independent, assisted living, and memory care designed to preserve dignity, independence, in your estate. Affordable, personal, trusted. That's our promise. Please give us a call. We have beautiful Care Partners communities throughout Washington and Arizona. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Get lower home energy bills, cleaner air, and year-round comfort with AeroSeal duct sealing, starting at just $99 for PSE customers replacing their furnace or heat pump. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Gee and Ursula, let's be real. What Ursula did was say the quiet part out loud as she just told me during the break. I just want to say, like Ernie and Kent said, I was speechless. Ursula, I wasn't ready. So.
And if you know what we're talking about, you'll need to go to the podcast because I'm not repeating it. I do need to save my job.
Okay. All right, Ursula, what you got for us?
Okay, on the Seattle mayoral candidates and the news that the union representing city workers is backing Mayor Bruce Harrell's opponent, Jeff and Everett says it is absolutely sickening and disgusting on the part of government workers that they're trying to use political drive for personal gain.
Sue on the Cedar River says status quo needs to be tweaked as society changes.
And that was another thing that the union and you talked about basically is that we cannot rest on status quo. Mark at Edmonds says, good morning from the home office. And we know that Mark travels everywhere. So he happens to be working at home right now. So he says, if I understand it, those city employees just want to stay home and get paid? Rubbish. Please get back to the office. The city of Seattle is going in the right direction. So please put on your growing up trousers and get back to work.
The impact of return to work. George in Fremont says, that's crazy talk. Have you driven in and around downtown? Rush hour is all day. Bringing more people back is ludicrous, especially with all the road diets and bus-only lanes that have gobbled up much-needed roads for cars.
Yeah, some of those road diets are just ridiculous, and all the construction right now, people just take deep breaths because it is very frustrating. On the Coldplay couple, a lot of you had stuff to say about that. Amy in Ocean Shores says, is it just 2 singles Coldplay dropped, or could it be 4, G? The 2 cheaters aren't going to be together after this either, do you think? Who knows? Who knows?
Amy. Remember I said this. They ain't splitting up. Where you going? Them couples are going to stay together.
You don't know that for a fact. Okay, Warren in Tacoma says, I know, but you're thinking.
It's an opinion.
Yeah. You're thinking they're going to stay together because there's money, big money.
70% of relationships fail because of financial reasons, not infidelity.
Kat in Lakewood says the CEO broke rules on every level, but I've always lived by no fishing off the company pier.
Come on, Kat. CBS cancels The Late Show. Ryan says, I didn't know what happened. I don't necessarily like that show, but getting more information, it's really crappy how the network is going about it.
Betty says, pretty soon we won't have free speech in the media regarding Colbert. What a shame. President Trump is nothing but a bully, and corporations are bending to him.
One thing we didn't get to, Ursula, we didn't get to that Congress is rolling back $9 billion in public media funding and foreign aid. We didn't get to that one. But let's see. What's the next one here, Ursula? Can you get this for me, please?
Kathy in Granite Falls says, one thing you should point out is that CBS is canceling The Late Show completely. There will not be a new host. It'll no longer exist. As a kid, I remember sneaking in to see Johnny Carson, but the new generation doesn't watch anymore.
425 says, listen to Charlie's commentary about CBS and Gee's reaction. Colbert was fired because he ceased to be entertaining and got too preachy. His act was funny at first, but really got stale. Have you actually listened to him? I'm not a Trump fan, but tired of hearing Colbert's act.
His ratings were still pretty good, so that's the thing. But he was very critical of the current administration, and so you have to wonder. On scenarios, Chelsea and Sumner says just because he has the money and doesn't mean he's allowed to do whatever he wants to do with that cell phone. It's not like he'd be allowed to go into a liquor store and to buy a rack of vodka.
Well, let's get to the big dumper conversation. You want to go with that one, Ursula? The big dumper?
Yeah. Nathan in Bellevue says, gee, I love your take on the big dumper and honey bucket, but I disagree somewhat. Think of what a huge brand Mike Rowe is with dirty jobs.
Mike Rowe doesn't play baseball. George in Fremont said, dude, big dumper or big unit? Which is more cringy? I think you got to work with what you got handed. Big Dumper has embraced the name and is banking on it. Don't dump on the big dumper.
And I'm going to pass. I don't want to have to repeat.
Words to live by.
Okay, yeah,
what you got for us, Ursula?
Well, about my last comment regarding Randy Johnson and his nickname, it's important to be able to laugh. Laugh often, as Chelsea Handler likes to say. Laugh often, laugh loudly, and most importantly, laugh at yourself. I love laughing.
Yeah.
And it saves us on the show.
I gotta honestly say, I wish you would have said that earlier in the show. I needed that laugh. All right, Brother Nick, talk to me.
Well, I'm sure working from home can have its benefits for most, spending less time on commutes with laptops on a beachy coast. And apparently, for certain HR reps and CEOs, they go cheat at Coldplay concerts, risking everything they know. And maybe Coldplay keeps this fun tradition live and well, just like Rally's dumper nickname that we always ring a bell, or ring a honey bucket for that matter.
I love that. Okay, I need to end on a very sweet note. We have a listener named Tom.
Okay.
I don't even know if he agrees with us or disagrees with us on topics, but every day he gives us words of affirmation. And maybe on a week like today, a week like this week, we need this. Because Tom said, good morning, team. He said, gee, I'm sad that you're having a bad week. I totally understand where you're coming from and agree with it. I want to let you guys know that I have told the people who set my schedule that I am unable to do interviews or have meetings until 12:30 on Fridays, and that all of the appointments I need on Fridays need to be at least 2 hours away from where I live in Snohomish. Guess why? He says, yep, it's so I can listen to Gee and Ursula. I love you guys.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
How sweet is that?
I needed to end the week off with that one.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
For sure.
Ursula, what you about to do the rest of the day and weekend?
I am going to take a nap this afternoon, and then we're going to go spend some time at the pool tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we belong to a neighborhood pool, and it's been great this week.
Awesome. Hey, Paul, thank you for coming in and filling in, man.
Of course. Happy to be
really
here.
Grateful for everything you do. Nick, man, you know how we feel about you, my boy.
Same with you, man.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for being awesome. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Hey, the Jake and Spike show. Yep, they're coming in next. And all of you, have a great weekend. And we will be back on Monday. We appreciate you for listening. We love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
What you gonna do when she says goodbye? What you gonna do when she's gone? What you gonna do when she says goodbye? What you gonna do when she's gone?
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
Get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way.